Who's ready for some knife hands? Yeah.
Hoorah.
Hoorah. There's no Marines here. Screw that hoorah. Oh, wait, we got Navy just showed up. Now we got an hoorah.
Really?
What?
What's up, Shellback?
That's not a Navy thing. That's
Hoorah
like,
is. Yes, it is.
Navy's like, ooh, yeah.
No. Not quite like that, no, but
Shellback popping in here has definitely confirmed what Raster said in the back in the back area there, that this is the boomer stream from hell right now. We got 3 legit boomers going on now.
I'm cringing as it is.
Well, at least Shellback has done this before and already knows what he's doing. But I've been working with Thumper and the fucking old guy, as he prefers now to be called Fog. Apparently doesn't know how to put mute on his phone with his little alarms and text messages there either. I'm guessing that was you, Mike.
No. Oh, yeah, it was.
You know how I know? Because I saw your little ring blink there.
All right.
no,
Well,
okay, wait a minute.
Your little ring gave you away.
Whoa, holy shit. My other screen just went to... What the fuck just happened? My entire left screen here just fucking froze up completely. Let me reset that. Anyways, hey everybody, happy Wednesday. Again, I gotta come with something else because I always keep on saying happy Saturday, but
Wednesday?
wow. Yeah. Holy shit, what
This
the
is
fuck
like
just
Thursday, man.
Thursday?
okay, I put my phone
yeah,
on
it is
airplane. Does that
Thursday,
work?
yeah.
What year is this?
The year of my Lord 20 something. I don't know. I lost track.
I mean, I know the clocks run a little bit slower in your neck of the woods, but damn, a whole day behind.
Well, I mean, I was fucking extremely distracted. I literally just had a quick clusterfuck happen here. My entire screen just froze up over here. And anyways, I'm not gonna get into that.
Big Brother's looking at you.
My brother, what?
Well,
I said,
if you're
Big
not on a
Brother's
watch
looking
list,
at you.
Big
right.
Brother's looking at me. I can believe that. That's for sure.
If you're not on a watch list, you're not doing it right.
I agree. I'll tell you what I am on. I think I'm on some liberals list now because I've been seeing a lot of fucked up liberal fucking commentary on some of my videos recently. And I've been flying under their radar for quite a while, but I think I'm finally making some enemies out there. So looking forward to that.
Well, if you get more than 10 subscribers, you're going to be on their vigilante list.
Yeah. The last one's over 80,000 views and over 3,000 subscribers just on the one video alone. So,
Well, you know you're not successful until the Southern Poverty Law Center there, and they put you on a list, and then you're making it.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's
when
right.
You know you're big time.
When I start seeing articles written out about our skinheads and whatnot appearing on Vets Talking, when I get an article like that out, Thumper knows the joke behind that one. We were joking about that earlier. We'll go ahead and start saying hi to some people, like the fucking old guy down there, Mike, making his second appearance now. It was on Saturday, a few weeks ago. Extremely intoxicated. We had to figure out everything on the fly. Air Force retiree, Mr. Mike. How's it going, man?
Yeah. Welcome to all, and I guess to me too, eh?
Yes. A.
Hey.
See, that's a sign of somebody who grows up in Vermont. You catch that crossover, that infestation of the Canadian lingo.
Yeah, you're a hoser, eh?
You're
I'm just going to mute this. I don't have to. Wait a minute. If I mute it, that doesn't mean I can't hear you. It means you can't hear me.
That's
How
right.
do I mute you?
You can't. You just have to. You just have to suck it up, Buttercup.
You can't turn me off.
Yeah.
Shellback TJC, our one and only Navy veteran.
Yes, sir. Well, that's all you need, right? Just
We only need one.
Yeah.
Any more than that is definitely just way too much.
Yeah. It's like, the music starts breaking out and we start like dancing and shit. It's like Gene Kelly and shit.
YMC.
They've got a whole nother song just for the Navy. Remember, you don't got to go to YMCA.
Yeah, right. Yes. In the Navy.
In the Navy.
Yeah.
My friend Thumper. Oh, I'm sorry. What did you have some more?
No, I was just gonna say that I was a little shocked when I found out of that the village people were of a certain
Persuasion.
yeah.
They what you mean to say is
what?
they were
Different. Just different.
Go suck a dick, motherfucking dick. Suck a dick, suck a huge or small.
Yeah. Hey,
Dude,
there was something good did come out of it though, because that provided one of the best movie scenes ever is when on Wayne's World when they were running away from the people and they ran into that gay bar and ended up doing YMCA on the stage.
Oh yeah. God, it's been so long since I've seen that movie. I got to go back and check that. There's so many great scenes.
And that's how you need to start your show. Wayne's World.
Oh,
Rock
dude,
on.
yeah. I have the ability to pull up video clips in here. I do. Yeah. Thank you for that idea. I'm definitely gonna do that. And we're gonna go over to my friend. The first time on here. I'm guessing first time on YouTube. Right, Thumper?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
First, breaking my cherry.
Well, I don't. Let's not. Let's.
That's an ugly picture. I don't even want to hear that. Can we just change the subject? Thumper, nice to hear you on. It's great, but let's just move on. What else is there to talk about?
I was trying to
talk about a battle buddy. Woo.
Well, speaking of which, Army veteran, right? When were you in the Army, buddy?
82 to 92.
Mm-hmm. Joined the Army 1 year after I was born. Might make you a little old.
Hey, I own that shit. I earned every year I got.
Yep. I take no
82. Shit, I was in the Air Force way before that. I was out of the Air Force way before that. I was in the reserves way before that. So
okay,
your name's a fucking old fart. Then.
Yeah, we get it. You're old.
No one has denied the fact that you are a relic.
Dirt was solid when he was.
There are laws protecting old people from that kind of talk.
Oh Jesus!
Oh, moving on.
Raster
Caster.
Just keep paying your taxes because that Social Security comes in handy every month.
Yeah, until it runs out completely, and I have nothing to go off of when I get to your age.
When that goes dry, all the other government benefits I got are dried up too. So at that point, I'll have to go hostile.
Precious metals, my friends. Brass is your friend.
That's right. Raster Caster, he's going to be bringing the expertise, I'll say quote unquote expertise from his legal mind with the stupid shit going on with Trump. How's it going, man?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm here on Boomercast, and if anybody's ever wondering, knows all those uncles and awkward people and everything to make you quit Facebook because of all their shitty political memes have been passed around for the last year or so. These are your guys. So
don't you judge me. Don't you judge me.
I was never
Shut
on
up
Facebook.
All y'all with your Burger King speakers. Shit. Anyway.
Wow.
Anyway, yeah. We're going to be talking about some stuff and everything about all the shenanigans that are our favorite people in our government now they have been doing, and happy to be here.
And I do want to point out today, for some reason I couldn't get Odyssey to work right, but we are still streaming. We are on YouTube, Rumble, Kick, and and also on the Twitter and Facebook. So everybody out there, I appreciate everyone who's in here in the chat so far. Remind to everyone, all of our streams, we always play our drinking game. Again, I say it all the time. This is not like our Saturday show. We get too crazy, but nonetheless, we want to show some love to anybody who wants to show us some love by keeping the lights on here at Vets Talking. So any single super chat, we all do a social, which at the time I'm actually only drinking water, but for $20 or more, we will do super shots. Of which I got my whole new bottle of Redneck Riviera. I will be taking shots of that, which I know old man.
Right, I don't mean to take away from your attempt to earn some money, but I will drink for free. I am that cheap. All you have to say is, Mike, have a drink. I'll have a drink.
Hey,
I would do that.
He's easy too.
My phone just rang. I think somebody's calling me right now.
I think you still don't know how to turn it on vibrate mode. What a surprise.
Yeah, and probably a jitterbug. So I'm not sure if they allow that or not in case they fall down.
All right, I'm going to say hello to our awesome chat. Thank you so much, Tracy K's popping in. Hey, Tracy, by the way, since I know you've popped onto our Rumble a lot too, if you get over onto Rumble, drop at some point, I'm going to make you a moderator because we had an issue with a douchebag last week. Or I can't remember when it was, and I needed a moderator over there to get him to shut the fuck up. But anytime you pop over there, I'm going to make you a moderator on Rumble. All right? And I appreciate the hell of you always being here. Dan W. Hello, folks. New guy of the channel here. Welcome, Dan. That's Mike. That's Chicago Blackhawks, right?
I'm sorry. I just got 2 texts, and both of them said, "Drink up, motherfucker." How'd they get my phone number?
I don't know why
did you share this link with somebody?
Why are you talking and not drinking?
No, never mind. It was my family.
Swallow that shit, man.
No, it's my family. They're drinking anyway, and they just said, "Have a drink."
Well, did you share the link with them? Are they watching the show right now?
No, I would never let my family know I'm doing this. They actually have a higher opinion of me. No, I'm making that up. They don't, but I wouldn't share it anyway. I don't want it to go any deeper, lower.
Fair enough.
That would be the right word, lower.
That's harsh.
We got Great Tangs popping in here. Marine Corps engineers up. Welcome, Marine Corps. Hoorah. I want a green-haired anti-liberal. She even saw the link. She usually pops in here on Wednesdays.
Well, yeah, anime Montessori, so they're probably busy. You know.
I forgot that's this week. Yeah, everyone's out doing the super nerd shit at Anime Matsuri this week.
That weeb shit.
I'm not going to talk too much shit. I mean, obviously I wouldn't care about the anime stuff, but that does sound like a pretty awesome event with how many people from FNT and everything going to that. So, oh well. Samuel the Infamous, what's up, man? Hail, fellas. Hail, Samuel. And Cliff Anderson says, "I'm not here." All right, everyone ignore Cliff. He's not here. Thanks.
Too late. Too late.
Using camouflage and concealment.
All right. So last week, Raster did a great job because he's got some experience and understand how indictments work. We're not going to say why exactly, but he broke down very well the indictments and the charge, or the last indictment, the federal indictment that just dropped last week, and the 3 charges in that. And real quick, if you want to just give another real quick recap of what all that shit was and why it was so incredibly ridiculously fucking stupid, Raster.
Well, the biggest thing is that it makes it operates is actually going to try to pass by a judge's desk by operating under the assumption that they know exactly what Trump was thinking the entire time, and that they know his intent, and they're going to be able to prove that intent, which they're not going to be able to. But also another thing, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Well,
Raster, excuse me.
Go ahead.
This is the Washington one, right? With the most recent one that just came out. That's the one you're referring to, correct?
Yes.
In Washington. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, the federal indictment.
Yeah. So, basically, from all of this is that it operates under that assumption. But the biggest thing is that it's a big First Amendment violation, and it's gonna. Honestly, I think that beyond just being it involves a president, which is blowing my mind, they're going to make case law using a president, which blows that just kills me. The whole thing is that you have a right attorney privilege, and to list your attorney as your co-conspirator because is mind blowing to me. Everything so far is this is grasping at straws. This is nothing more than election interference, and anything else otherwise now from anybody tells you nothing is fucking retarded. Because I've said it in the last episode, and I'll say it again here for people who might not have seen it. And I'm not a big avid Trump supporter. I'm not. But however, I will be voting for him for a facet of reasons. Mainly because I want a bull in a china shop, and no one has more of a personal reason to just go in there and fuck shit up than this guy. And it's what we need. And I think this is like the death kicking, the desperation or whatever, because they know that he's the front runner. They really thought that DeSantis would be the front runner, but it's not playing out that way. And
Raster, can I ask another question?
Yes, go ahead.
Is there, have they yet suggested there's a conspiracy with the people that Trump has spoken with? Or is that suggested to become something in a next level of indictments with the people?
In the actual affidavit, when I read through it last episode, the majority of the co-conspirators are as attorneys. There's like I forgot, like seven or eight.
These are the people that he got his information from. How he decided that there was a reason to object to the election because it didn't seem totally up and up that it was a fair election.
Yeah,
everyone consulted, and they told him that this is our opinion, and now they're accusing him of a conspiracy with his lawyers.
Yeah, basically, they're going to charge him for taking the legal advice of one of his attorneys or whatever. That's kind of what's kind of head towards. But it's they don't outright name them, but I'm going to go ahead and operate under the assumption that it's Sydney, what's her face and everything. That was the released the Kraken lady. That was the
Sidney
one
Powell.
Sidney Powell. She was the one that was saying, "Hey, we got all this shit right here."
Kraken lady.
She said during this conversation, she said that they're going to release the Kraken as if they had some big explosive bit of information. Entire election thing open.
I recall that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The only thing that's going on with these people is they're snatching turds out of the toilet and flinging them against the wall and seeing if something will stick, and it's not going to do it.
Thank you for that.
The only thing they're trying to do is stop him from being able to run in the election. And to do that, he actually has to be convicted of something.
And that's absolutely the point of all of this, is that they're trying to eliminate him completely from the ability to be. Joe Biden said it in like an interview on TV that his whole purpose is to make certain that Trump is not able to be elected president. And he wants to stop him any way that he can legally. He threw that in, but that's a given. So,
well,
if there's an argument or a question to be asked, it's how do people who are completely oblivious to all of this, which is a vast, at least 50% of the voting public, who don't listen to any of this and don't know it, because it's not. I realize I just interrupted everything, but I'm going to throw this in there because this is the reason I'm phrasing the question of how to get this more widespread. Is I've got a very good drinking buddy who's totally like on the left, but he's not like a communist or a Marxist. He's just one of these really dumb Democrats that's voted Democrat all his life, and he believes that that is the way that it always should be, and he only listens to like the old 3-letter networks or 4 letters if they've got that many. But when I brought up to him the clip of Biden mouthing off about how he said, I got $1 billion, but you're not going to get it. And if you don't fire the prosecutor, you're not getting it. And they said, you can't do that. He said, well, call the president. And then, yes, I can. I'm going to be leaving here in, I looked at my watch, like 6 hours. And if you haven't fired the prosecutor, then you're not getting the money. And they fired the prosecutor. He said, son of a bitch, they fired the prosecutor. And he had no clue. Him and his wife both have never heard that clip. I mean, how many times have you seen that clip? And they have never heard it once.
Yeah,
exactly. And they've never heard it once.
That is the definition of gaslighting. Gaslighting is to lie often, lie confidently, and seclude your audience from the truth. And they are being secluded. That video never gets out to any of their left-wing media. And then at the same time, they're being told that all right-wing media is evil and bad. So that's why they think
absolutely.
Fox News is not worth watching. It's nothing but lies.
Adam. All that shit has been the norm.
Hey, can we
hold on, Raster, go ahead.
Hey, read that super chat.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to hold off for a second. But yes, we do have Mr. Blue Cord Devil popping in for 20. Blue Cord.
Fort Benning, brother.
Hold on. Yeah, so for everybody who, if anybody is new here, understand that Blue Cord Devil has been an amazing supporter of this channel. Ever since it got monetized, and we've known very well for months now that his wife has been in extremely difficult and terrible situations, and so here is his super chat for 20.44. This is for my beautiful wife. She earned her wings this morning. She loved her 44 mag. I got her for Christmas. Asking for prayers for my family and her family over their next few weeks. Peace and prayers, Adam, and peace and prayers to you, my friend, and to your lovely wife. I'm so sorry to hear that, man. Anyone who is there who is drinking, whether it's water or anything else, cheers, salute. This is to your wife. To you, my friend, and to all of yours and her family. Thoughts, love, and prayers to everyone.
It's a very difficult situation to even talk. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry for your loss. Yeah.
At least we do know this has been something that's been going down for weeks, even longer than that. So.
May she rest in peace.
May she rest in peace. Yes,
truly.
From the absolute bottom of my heart, my friend. Yeah. Thank you for being here, and thank you for supporting this channel. And I can only hope and pray that things go well in your period of grieving. So, no goofy shot video for that one, man.
No, Raster, I'm sorry I interrupted you, but go ahead, please.
The whole, like I said, the whole basis of this now is operating under assumptions, and they're listing it as probable cause, and that's just no way to go and no level of law enforcement. And I can't believe it's actually made to a federal level, but this is what happens when you have a freaking kangaroo court in DC. If you look at the prior elections, he only got less than 1% of the vote in the District of Columbia. So that at no point in time should anybody be taken seriously out of DC for just on that basis alone, because he's not going to get a fair trial at all. And these judges and the prosecutor They're totally using this then as a political manipulation for the elections, because at no point in time now they're trying to get all these things done. I'll go to court, all this stuff, and get it all tried before the primaries. Now that's a farce. And if anyone knows anything about the federal courts now, none of them operate that fast, and I seriously don't think they want them to. This is just they're making it look like they're making effort to speed it along, speedy trial, yada yada yada. But that's not the case. I honestly think this is going to be dragged out for months, and this will not be actually fixed or whatever. Or I think he will be. I think this will end up being a guilty plea. I mean, not guilty plea, but it'll actually be a guilty verdict. Now, the reason I say that is not because I think there's grounds for it. I say it's because we're already this fucked. And
well, it's in DC,
right.
But if his appeal to have it moved,
but let me finish. But let me finish on this. That the goal is not necessarily the charges. You got to think a few steps ahead. They will then push to remove him off the general election ballot because he will be nominated. And DeSantis can keep on pretending all he wants to. And if you like DeSantis, that's fine. That's okay. But let's just accept the reality here. Look at the polls. I think Vivek Swamy or whatever I think his name is. I think they're tied.
Ramaswamy, yeah, he'll be the second. I guarantee he'll be the.
And I hope he is. I hope he's VP. But I mean,
I agree with you. He's very good.
I didn't mean VP. I meant he'll be the runner up to Trump in the election. But I 100% agree. He should absolutely. Trump needs to pick him up as the VP.
And honestly, he's okay. Get this. Everybody sit there and think, okay, DeSantis was endorsed by Trump. And then it basically does this shit that he's been doing or whatever. And you can disagree with me on it. That's fine. That's okay. That's fine. I have no ill feelings on that and everything. But I'm the outsider looking in on this whole Trump thing because I'm not a Trump cultist. I'm not. And I do believe that it does exist because I've seen it.
To call Trump cultist, that's too insulting, man. You can't.
Well, yeah,
it is. I'm not decorating my house in this fucking flag. I'm just not going to do it. And no politician is worthy of that much worship. You're not going to have me support you that hard. If you go on Twitter,
I get that.
Point taken.
It's the language, dude. You got to remember that the cult thing is the language that the left is using to try to label MAGA Trump supporters, and they're doing that for everyone. You know, if I have a fucking MAGA hat, which I do have, I have mine from the 2020 election, they'll label me as being a cultist. So I'm only, you can say what you want to say, but I'm saying just a recommendation. You might want to pump it on calling it. Using the left language like that.
They can't take our language. I mean, that's the problem. They control the language. I'm not allowing it. So
that's why I say like it'd probably be beneficial to just not use what their type of. You get what I'm saying, right?
I just don't agree with people making that personality. And the thing is that when you have somebody that's in like on Twitter and there's like pro MAGA and all that kind of stuff, I'm like, okay, I get it. Now I know you voted for. Fuck it, I don't give a shit. I mean, it's like one of them things where they beat their chest to Trump and everything, and he can't do nothing wrong. I'm like, no, the motherfucker did a lot wrong. But the thing is, though, is that my view towards all politicians, I don't care if it's Trump or whatever, is that I have no worship for them. They're only good as useful as a tool. And once they stop being useful, you throw them away like any politician you should. Politicians need to be beneath me. They're public servants.
I'll bet there's no one here that would disagree with you on that.
And that's what, and it makes me cringe when I see a Trump fanatic, not a cultist. Okay, but the thing is that everybody has that drunk uncle and everything.
Better terminology.
Okay. They shouldn't have the hurt feces anyway. Then they're not a true MAGA supporter if they get their feelings that hurt that bad. But
Let
the
me- let
thing
me-
is,
Can you hold that thought for a second while I bring the super chat up?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Samuel the Infamous, another generous supporter, popping in with a 20. Much appreciated. Also, Samuel says, 2 blue cord devil's wife. Right. I'm actually not bad with words, but I don't know that one. Requisite.
Requisite.
What? Requisite?
Requisite.
Requisite in
Requisite in peace.
What does requisite mean?
It means
Well,
rest. As in front leaning.
I mean, it would have been a lot easier to just say rest in peace.
Okay.
But
well, I mean, he's using the fancy words in there for
homie's
20.
got a
Yes,
vocabulary, man.
yes.
Let him push it out.
Yeah.
It's
So
cool to have a
two blue cord devil's wife, requisite in peace. To blue cord devil, my meager condolences to you and yours, sir. May her light guide your way until you meet again. Beautifully.
I tip my hat to
beautifully
that.
said. Once again,
I
anybody
tip
who's
my
drinking,
glass to you, sir.
drink. Yep. To you, blue cord, and to your wife and family. Cheers.
Roast.
Much appreciated. And all the comments that you guys are throwing out, all the love for blue cord and everything. Thank you guys so much. I love seeing that support in this. This is my first time I'm going to say it. This community, we are growing a little bit of a community here, and I've got so many ideas. We're going to do Discord groups and some other things like that. I've got a few ideas for some things going forward with Vets Talk and we've had so many times now. The chat is getting to know each other and communicating. And again, this is one of my happiest times seeing a chat right now and seeing the love that you guys are outpouring to Blue Cord and his family right now. So thank you guys so much. I'm very appreciative of everyone here. Where were we, Raster?
Becoming fanatics.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So the whole thing is that with everything that's going on is that I don't expect anything different now than from you know your hardcore Trump supporters or whatever you want to call them or whatever. But the thing is, because a lot of them and everything is on to like most of the population, they even like the left are like, and everybody's like, you can't complain to the leftists. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry, but a majority of Americans are retarded. And they're not politically informed. They're not. I mean, if we did, we wouldn't have. You wouldn't have rhinos. You wouldn't have Republicans. They just see Republican, and that's how you have Lindsey Graham in South Carolina. It ain't.
Well, all this stuff is exactly the reason why they've been dicking around with the education system for so long. They're making these kids illiterate so that they can't keep up and don't have enough brain power to understand what's being said.
I agree with that.
Well, I honestly think it's kind of like the whole saying or whatever says, but weak men bring on hard times. And the thing is that that's what's going on right now is that we got a lot of problems that we need to deal with, and yeah, education is one of them, but I think just general on the face for the face value of it and everything, everybody is just like, okay, for the most part and everything. Like everybody, even the people that hate Trump, they probably never read the affidavit, just like they didn't when they had in Florida. They say no gay bill. Yeah, okay, well you didn't read it because it doesn't say that anywhere in the bill.
No, that's because they let their television do their thinking for them.
Well, not just the television, but the internet too. Like I remember having this argument with my sister when during the first Trump election when I told her, like, I think when we were having a fucking stupid Facebook spat about shit, and I said, look, all you're doing is just speaking the rhetoric from the left-wing media or news agencies, and like, I don't watch the news. Okay, so even worse, you just believe whatever you see on the fucking internet then?
My thing
Somebody
is,
just do some fucking research. You just believe everything in fucking face, at a. Yeah, go ahead, Raster.
I don't rely on experts. I just try to stay. I mean, I know I'm not a legal expert. I know that, but however, I did educate myself and everything from my prior career and everything to be able to know ins and outs. Now, if you're talking about stuff with actual science and stuff like that, like biology, medical stuff and everything, yeah, I'm retarded. So but I know when to defer to an expert. But I can basically manage or whatever to be able to decipher a legal document and to be able to see what is the court what it's trying to say. Now, does that mean I can go up there and be an attorney? No, I can't. But however, I know that I'm now more educated than a majority of the American population because I have actually read the damn thing and not let some other quote unquote expert tell me what it says when I can read it my damn self. You figure out if the majority of the population were forced to read, I'm not advocating that they are, but if they were forced to read it, just the introduction alone would turn so many Americans off on it. Because the question is that at any point in time, if you question the election, you could be charged, because questioning an election is equal to treason. That's something that blows my mind, and this is not what our forefathers wanted. And on top of that goes against the grain of everything that's American.
And that's actually a point I was going to make earlier, is that same thing like talking about the 2020 election or 2019, whatever, that everyone is always so focused on like one thing. So if you don't believe that there was any malicious things going on with the election, then they just focus on one single aspect, like mail-in ballots or some shit like that. They don't realize there's a large, vastly a large operation, like just like in a military
death
operation.
by 1,000 paper cuts.
Yeah. You don't have just infantry. You have infantry as well as air support, as well as special operations, as well as electronic. It's an operation is a massive operation. So it's the same thing with with this prosecution of Trump with the indictments and everything else. It's not just that they're trying to get him convicted. It is multifaceted. One for another, we did this last week where we looked at the pattern that every single one of the indictments and the Mar-a-Lago raid, every single time that something big hits the news about Trump, it is immediately after something that has happened with Biden. It is correlated immediately. They're timing it out perfectly so that they only use these drops for Trump as a way to distract from what's going on with the Biden scandal. And then beyond that, there's so many more other aspects to it also. And this is the one point I really want to get to, is that it's a way to try to scare not just politicians to support Trump, but to scare you out there as well. It's the same thing like the January 6th conviction.
Disagree on one part of that.
Only one? God, you really don't like me, do you?
Hey, you actually did pretty good, man.
Well, I appreciate it. I feel so much better.
But the one thing that I disagree on is they're not trying to scare the politicians, because all the politicians are on board with this shit.
No.
They're all playing
not
from the same card.
not all of them.
Except for just a very small handful.
Yeah.
And they're not enough in number to matter.
It's the ones who are out there, because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get everybody in line. They want everyone in lockstep. They want everyone to also be afraid of this machine that they have in the federal government.
What they're doing is they're slowly, step by step, setting up the United Soviet Socialist States of America. That's what they're doing. And they're going to set it up with a dictator that they handpick, like they've handpicked all the last 4 or 5 presidents, and do only it's going to be a family, like North Korea, or it may be a party system like what Russia had. Or
welcome, iron oxide, our fellow treasonous election denier.
The thing about
I mean,
all
that's the end game right there. That's the end game.
The whole thing with what you were just getting at about having everybody's cherry picked and everything, I kind of tend to agree with that. The one thing that I think that Trump has made me realize with a whole lot of this stuff, and again, this is coming from someone that's not an avid I like like the guy. I'm just telling you that when I saw him get office, or whether he did a lot of things fucked up, but I
He did a
think it's
lot of
because the
good stuff.
man generally was not experienced at what he did, and he's like, I'm not a politician. I didn't know that. I mean, basically, he had John Bolton. Yeah, basically, he had. If anybody would kiss up to him, he got
He
into it.
picked
And
a
he was
lot of fucked up people, and having
Right.
Jared and Bunker in his cabinet or whatever they were positions, that was wrong. You shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
That was
Well,
I think a lot of
what he did,
people.
he went
I
around.
think a lot of people
his
weaseled the way in
Hold-
there.
Shellback, go ahead. Yeah, you haven't spoke for a while.
I was gonna say I think a lot of people weaseled their way in here. Not so much that Trump picked them, but it's like, oh hey, you should pick this guy or let this and it's it's because he was not the lifetime politician, but so it's like 6 of one, half a dozen of another. Either he got fucked up people because he didn't know. He wasn't a prior politician. He didn't know who the players were necessarily. So,
Yeah.
and I still don't know if I would even call him a politician now. It's like he's
Well,
he's there. He's there to upset the apple cart.
He's not a career politician.
Yeah,
He
but
is still.
I mean,
Yeah,
he's there to
so-
upset the apple cart. He's not there to be part of the freaking, gang. And
well, actually,
and
he was.
what Raster's saying, about people who are like, ultra mega and all this stuff, it's like, in my humble opinion, and maybe I'll get that label smacked on me, after I say this, but he's the only dude. He's the only man for the job. He is the only man for the job.
Yeah,
Okay,
and I'll agree with you on that. because
if
he's not
you're
part of them.
not
Yeah.
if you're not on the Trump train, if you're not on the Trump train,
Raster even
something's
said
wrong
that
with
he
you.
wants a bull in the china shop. I get what Raster's analogy is 100%. He wants somebody who is so pissed off right now and has nothing else to lose politically that he can come in and just fuck everything up and then just build it all back up. And that's exactly what Raster's getting at.
I mean,
So even Raster agrees that Trump is the man right now.
yeah, he's
Hey,
a man.
I'm on board with that. Of course,
I mean,
when he was president, the reason why he was on everybody's shit list was because he's not a politician.
Yeah.
They
thought they.
he's like
Hold on,
us.
Shellback.
If you were the president and you walked in to address Congress and said, "You guys are a bunch of useless fucking shitbirds, and I'm going to get rid of every one of you," like what all of us would like to do. That's Trump, and that's exactly the reason why everybody on the left hates his guts. After he ran for president, which before that he was all good buddies with every one of those people.
Well, I would only disagree to the point to say that the real reason is because he's just uncontrollable. He doesn't know the handshake. He's not in the club, and they do not have control over him they do over so many of these other politicians you speak of.
Yeah.
No, that's all I was gonna say is it's like before they thought he was on their side. He thought that he was their buddy or whatever.
Yeah,
but then
he gave money to the Clinton campaign and everything back in the day.
But he's like, well, guess what? I'm running for president as a Republican, and that's when it started. Right there is when and they're like, oh, well, now he's Satan. But
oh yeah, as soon as he said he was running as a Republican, assholes on the left were slamming shut so hard you could hear it.
But again, you got to remember though, it's not just a Republican or Democrat thing, because you look exactly what happened with the Bush family. As soon as he was becoming influential, what happened? All of a sudden, the Bush family buddied up to fucking the Obamas and everyone else. All of a sudden, they showed their true colors right away. They were not Republican and Democrat. They were just fucking totalitarians who, like you said, are just trying to take this fucking country over.
The left ring and the white ring are both hooked up to the same bird.
That's right. Raster, you were trying to chime in a few times there. Did you have something to say?
Yeah. My biggest thing right now with all this is that, and it's kind of, and it's a very stupid playbook, but I mean, I'm kind of, I as much as I dislike the guy, Tim Pool, I do think his show is good. And I say that from a perspective of like, it's about his guests that come on and the ideas that are talked about and everything in good detail. But I guess the thing I have to say about it is that he's always going about a civil war and yada yada yada, and I honestly think that the American population is too lazy for it, and this country is founded on fighting back against worse offenses than what we're facing right now. So I think we're lost, and I'm
I
black pilled as fuck.
100% agree with that.
But the thing about it is that what I'm basically watching a slaughter happen and everything in slow mo. And that's what we're all facing here and everything. Of course, you got the crowd and everything, the leftists and everything cheering on it and everything. But little do they know that this is going to be turned against them later on. It's just like the whole thing with again what happened to Soviet Russia. The Bolsheviks and everything will turn on you and everything once you stop being useful. They do not, these politicians and the majority of these people do not care about your social justice. They do not care. They will then turn. Okay, if they're already violating the 45th president's First Amendment rights right off the bat and everything, and having the most dumbest prosecutor I've ever seen in my life and everything pushing this through, thinking that it's actually going to get somewhere, and actually knows that it will get somewhere because of the fact that it's in the corrupt system. The courts and everything are a farce. But if they think about now that it'll be quickly turned against them,
Well,
and most of these people, most of these leftists that become red pilled is because they experienced something as a byproduct of the system that they advocated for. Case in point was Anna Kasperi and everything from the Young Turks. She was avidly, about defund the police and yada yada yada. Now she's a very attractive woman. Despite her politics
that she had.
Yeah, she looks really good. But the thing is that I think she was assaulted and when she was out, I think walking her dog or something like that, and then she is now what I would call a liberal in recovery. And I can get along with a recovering liberal. Yeah. What I can't get along is with the leftists, and everybody, and I kind of cringe. And if anyone ever sees me make a tweet or anything on Twitter, using calling a leftist a liberal now, I hope they call me out on it, because I don't think that I ever do that. And because I do
that's
that,
not a correct term.
Yeah,
JFK,
I don't.
JFK was a liberal.
Yeah,
Okay?
liberal,
and a liberal in the true sense is right wing nowadays.
Well, yeah, I mean, for the most part, and everything, libertarian and everything is what I would generally think of when I think of a liberal. And the reason I say that is because it's total freedom. It's supposed to be and everything where you have property rights. Everything is now your leftists are not about that at all. And honestly, there's times I even question, so what do these people really believe? And they don't really believe in anything. They think they do. Some of them actually, the useful idiots and everything, actually do believe in something that's usually like a one topic type of thing, such as this transgender stuff now. That's the hot topic now. Or you got pro Ukraine, that beat the drum or whatever it is. But I never would have thought and everything that, and if I went back in time to, let's say, pre 2008, I never would have thought that I would think that the warmonger party would be Democrats.
Yeah, the people who are anti-war, anti-nuke, everything else are pushing us to World War III right now.
Yeah, they want to talk about net zero carbon and all that shit and everything, and now they're leading us to a nuclear holocaust. Thanks, left. I mean, really,
way to be green.
Yeah, way to be green there. They're about nuking everything off the fucking map. But
actually, so this is a perfect segue also. So the prosecutor's name, the special counsel's name is Jack Smith, and everyone needs to have that tattooed on their head. Remember the tattoo in your brain. Remember Jack Smith, special counsel Jack Smith, the biggest joke of a fucking prosecutor to ever be in our fucking in our law system ever in history. The motherfucker has been multiple times now, many times in recent history, been brought up to bring the litigation, or whatever the proper terminology is. He brings the dumbest cases possible. The thing is, he's the lapdog and the lackey of the extreme leftists who are using lawfare, in other words, our legal system, to attempt to bring down their political enemies. And this man, no matter how much of a joke the fucking case can be, this guy is dumb enough to bring it, and he has failed so many fucking times. So he's the one who brought this now, and we just had the revelation today, Raster, if you want to expand upon this, that Twitter, that they wanted to get they want to subpoena Trump's Twitter account. And what? Go ahead, you go ahead and explain, Raster, why it was that they were able to justify not having to tell Donald Trump and his attorney that they were doing this.
All right. Basically, it goes down to thinking that the guy's a flight risk.
I was hoping you were going to lead into that for more fucking dramatic effect, because what a joke to believe that Trump is a flight risk.
Yeah, I'm just going to put that out there. And that and everybody's like, well, they didn't exactly say that. I said, well, that's basically what they're saying. If you read it as it says or whatever. Let me see here. It says the way that they produce this whole thing and everything, where it's a non-disclosure, and I can tell you right now, of all the ones I've seen before, this is general policy is to let the account holder be aware that they're actually, and you have to have it's another part of it now than to have a non-disclosure. And now the whole thing about all this is that they're gonna have a non-disclosure for him because it doesn't matter if it's deleted or anything or whatever, they're still storing our servers. Nothing Trump can do about what's on Twitter servers. If Twitter does anything to get rid of the evidence or whatnot and all that kind of, like, say if they did not do if they did the non-disclosure, okay, say they complied with it and everything like that, and they handed over whatever, the non-disclosure is completely pointless because of the fact that Twitter was not going to be, even if X or whatever is not going to want to be liable. It's supposed to be liable for any kind of like destruction of evidence and everything, especially in a big case like this. So that's no point. But the thing is that Trump, say if Trump was notified, Trump can't just call in and say, or would he call in and says, "Hey, Elon, can you delete the shit for me? Be a bro." No, Elon's like, "Sorry, man, I'm not going to put my neck on the line like that now," nor should he. But that's not the problem. Is that the non-disclosure is so that it's not for them not to notify Trump, it's so that they don't notify the public. But this came out in the wash anyway. So the whole thing is that this is operate under the pretense or whatever that is kind of like the enemy's at the gate. It's really getting to me now and everything. That the whole thing with where we were talking about last week, where we was talking about the whole conspiracy thing. The other part of that was the whole aspect of actually inciting violence and yada yada yada. But if you remember, and a lot of people, I'm not sure if everybody here in here, all the viewers here are actually on Twitter. But if one has the last thing that the man tweeted was about peace, it's complete opposite of anything about inciting violence, and that's literally his last tweet, and he hasn't tweeted since. Even though he's able to go there and tweet now if he wanted to, but he doesn't. He uses that shitty platform called Truth.
Yeah, his last tweet was on January 6th when he's pleaded for everyone to be peaceful and go home, right?
Right. So, but Twitter basically, took him off platform, banned him, yada yada yada, and that was suppressed by Twitter, the old Twitter. Now that he's brought back, you can see it, and you go to his account till this day and everything, and see that it's still there. and it's kind of like a nice little monument because it's like a non the count has not been molested since it. And the thing that they're actually I think that they're hoping for is that this is going to be a thing where they're going to try to use the whole thing where this is the non-disclosure and all this kind of stuff. They don't want him to know so that he doesn't flee. And that's the pretense of all this. Now, everybody think that, is piling up on me. I'm in over my head. I better run. That's what they're trying to sell in this whole warrant and everything to where the just go before a judge, affidavit and everything for them to grant a non-disclosure.
The man who is constantly surrounded by every level of law enforcement you can imagine is going to somehow flee.
Yeah, and now here's where the contradiction comes in at. I was like, so you're saying this man it's just say what it is. Yeah, you can put all legal jargon you want to now. You're basically accusing the guy trying to overthrow our government and actually do what was a quote unquote insurrection. They're saying that this man is responsible for all of this and is still actively trying to do it by trying to run in another election. But you think that if you believed it so hard that you think you would do with that guy? You would lock him up in jail, or at very least put him in house arrest at Mar-a-Lago or something like that. I mean, that'd be a nice cushy place for him, right? No. The man is free to leave the country and do whatever the fuck he wants down there and campaign and do whatever, as he should. But the thing is, though, if it was legit charges, then you would actually do that, correct? On the big affidavit. Now, the whole thing with the Twitter search warrant is nothing more than a fact-finding mission there. This is normal in every a real investigation, is that when you already have probable cause and everything on everything else now, and by bringing forth the affidavit now to get him actually in, get indicted. Part of the investigation is that you got to do a bunch of search warrants on a lot of social media and all this kind of crap like that to be able to get that evidence. And so Twitter is now been said, if you don't comply with this, now you'll be held in contempt and you'll be imposed a $350,000 fine. For its delay, they did actually give up the information. Now, what can you do? I mean, they could throw the FTCC at him or whatever, and fuck him up or whatever, fuck up Elon on this. But however, in a countersuit, Twitter is going to argue that the non-disclosure agreement actually violated the First Amendment, and I think it was called the Stored Communications Act. And so they're actually that is in direct violation not only of the First Amendment but also the Stored Communications Act. So there's a lot of stuff and everything that I think Twitter is right on point with that, and that this is removing the whole fact that he's president when you do have a thing called executive privilege. So there, at the time of January 6th, he was still president.
Yeah. So
if he didn't tweet before then. If he didn't tweet after that, and every tweet before that and everything that's in question is the time when he's a president, then he has executive privilege. So why the whole rigmarole? And also, if you're using the argument now that he's a flight risk now and then to obtain a non-disclosure agreement, then tell me why the hell that you didn't lock him up once he was indicted to help towards court date. It tells me that you're a joke.
I mean, the time me or you, we'd be under the prison waiting for trial.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
and this is normal.
The entire timing of all of this. I mean, like I said, it is one thing that, it was all been timed, that every single indictment and everything else just keeps on happening in lockstep with the new revelations of what's happening with Biden. But also it's all just before the next election. I mean, the fact that nobody else can see this, and here's the thing, is that, again, we've said this, is that these people are just so mind warped. They don't care. They don't really care about the rule of law anymore. All they care about is their hatred of this man, of Trump. That they don't care what has to happen in order to keep him out. So they don't care that our federal government is no more than an absolute police state right now, as long as it hurts Trump.
Here's the thing, though. If you were to actually speak to one of these fools ask them why they hate him, and they won't be able. They'll say, "Oh, this and this and this."
Yeah, they'll
Pin
say
them
that
down
they'll
and
say
say,
he's
"Give me
racist or he's
something
sexist, and
specific."
any single time you ask for any specific details, they can't tell you. You're absolutely right. And by the
That's
way,
because,
Sheila Aliens
that's
is in the
because their
chat.
television is telling them what to do.
Sheila, it's so sad that you're popping in right now. The fucking old guy, Mr. I guess he wants to go by Fog now. Mike, his earpiece died. He was using a Bluetooth earpiece, and so he's completely out of it now. I don't know why he's still here. I'm just taking him off the screen, but he hasn't
was out
logged out
rubbing
yet.
one out, I bet you.
He's out. He's getting his fap on. He's getting his fap on.
Well, one thing that well, one thing that everybody keeps again, they you want to nail Trump on a lot of stuff now. They never nail him on the things that I want to nail him for. But one of the funniest things is that they want to call him a racist. I was like, if I recall back in his Playboy days and everything, and using some historical knowledge or whatever, I think he's the only president that actually fucked a black woman since the third president of the United States, which was Thomas Jefferson. And everybody say, "What about Obama?" I stick by my claim. Now, so
Jesse Jackson and
Mike
Farrakhan were his butt buddies.
Well done.
Back in the day.
Yeah. So I mean, everything here and everything is just strictly politics. And this is not justice, and this is why everything with the Department of Justice now needs to crumble if this man gets in office. I don't think that he's going to make it that far.
Thank you, TX, for pointing this out. Yeah, this is what I was trying to say earlier. It's not just about Trump; it's a message to anyone that challenges the status quo. Exactly, and you know, whatever politicians are not marching in line, and whatever pathetic little slugs that we are, little people who are just under their boot. We how dare we ever to try to slime out from underneath that boot? We must remain there forever. And also, I do want to point out also, TX was saying that apparently Tucker just put out a show tonight with the former chief of the Capitol Police, and I would really be interested to check that out.
Well, that guy.
I've seen that. That they were. I think they leaked a clip now earlier now. So
really?
This is like last week that they leaked.
Oh.
I think.
Well, if anybody can find that.
I think the guy was basically saying that he believes that there was some Capitol Police and everything that something was a pushback from them, like someone messing with their operations.
You mean to
I think from what I saw. From what I saw now, it was alluding to that there potentially was like they've been infiltrated.
Well, I remember one of the videos when the videos were released to whoever the host was. I think it was Tucker on Fox News, and they started to put the videos out. There was the one where there was one of the police, like they're trying to launch their gas projectiles, and then somebody even said he essentially, I think he actually said we were set up. We were set up, like they were intentionally set up to be unprepared, unmanned, it was an intentional setup, so that the Capitol Police there would not have any ability whatsoever to keep people from going in.
Right. I mean, again, the National Guard and everything was denied. So
there's video footage though of them ushering people into the building.
Yeah. They can't get around that, but what they'll do is they'll delete all the videos online and then start speaking their bullshit, and everybody on the left will suck it up like a sponge.
Well, one thing I don't do when it comes to like any kind of political disagreements now is I try not to lose my scope on reality, and what I mean by that is that I never underestimate my opponent. Now, then, despite how much I think their beliefs are retarded. What I mean by that is that if I were to sit here and think about what is the stereotypical staples of most your right-leaning people, most people say the majority of them are 2A advocates, correct? Yeah. So tell me why the hell now if this was a true insurrection, tell me why the hell now it's the first insurrection I ever seen ever in recent history now that was done without weapons.
Yeah, see,
No
now
one answers
logic,
that.
logic is not one of their big priorities, though. You know, you
Well,
can't
that's
be
what I'm
going
saying. I
there.
mean, if okay, again, if you were to sit there and call an insurrection and it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of and everything, and I can't, and people are buying this because if the media says it long enough and loud enough and everything, then it's an insurrection if they say say it. And I'm like, well, no, by definition or whatever, by everything that goes with everything bone in my body, that was not an insurrection. Because you mean to tell me that almost every person that was in there in that guided tour of our nation's capital, I guarantee each one of them was a gun owner, and they apparently were not told that they should, if they were doing an insurrection that day, so they left it at home.
Yeah, but see, most of these people are incapable of having individual thought, and much less use logic of any kind. So whatever their television tells them, that's what they believe, and they believe it wholeheartedly.
But I mean, it's like with a lot of this stuff now, and I think, like there's there's a lot of foreign policy and stuff I don't agree with what Trump did or whatever. I mean, and he did. I mean, even Trump now gave a lot of money to the Ukraine and everything before all this happened or whatever for their defenses now. And everybody thinks that they just ignore that. And I'm like, well, but I will say that hopefully by this time next year, because we're not here. We're right now. All we're hearing about him is being on the defensive. We're not hearing about his, like, what are you campaigning on? I mean, what are you going to do when you're there? I think that town hall that we had and everything with the crazy bitch and everything that would end up debating him, that was supposed to be like the moderator.
Yeah. Who he called you're a nasty woman.
Nasty woman, yeah, that's just a bit, and so
she was a fucking bitch.
really, right now and everything is that's the only time that you're going to hear. That's the only time we hear policy, and now all you hear now is just every time it comes out, it's always about these. And I honestly, I'm that's not what I want to hear from him. Yeah, I want to hear his attorneys. I want to hear what's happening and everything. I want to hear a statement being made or whatever by his attorneys or whatever. But I don't want him talking about it. What I want him to talk about is I want him to talk about his campaign. I want him to tell me now, what are you going to do that you didn't do right the first time? Because obviously you're surrounded by idiots by the first time you did this. And I hope you got a new shop set up. Because
I definitely want to hear more from this attorney.
Well, yeah, let her give a daily update on shit. She does it. She did a good job there. One thing I noticed, he managed to find competent hot women.
Right.
I will say that the man has a knack for that. If
got a serious rat going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very nice legal briefs. Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah. Well, but again. What like with everything she was saying here was lining up the dates, which is completely correct on everything. Now, again, it's just she's not the only attorney.
Are we being rated?
Oh.
Did you make that happen, Sheila? Go ahead, Raster.
Again, she's not the one to figure this out. She was probably one of several people now then to make this. She's just they put the pretty face in front of the camera. I'm not going to sit here and talk her up that much or whatever. But I mean, the man has like a ton of like the best and the brightest probably around him now, especially knowing that his last one's like Sidney Powell and about retarded. I'll say it. Sidney Powell's retarded. I mean, the release of Kraken never happened. Now, here's the thing. I
was definitely in that camp, just hoping she was not full of shit, but turned out to be just completely
full of shit. And I like Rudy Giuliani and everything, but that man should not be in front of no camera.
Yeah.
His heyday is gone.
What do you mean? Tina says, I dropped my phone and accidentally deleted someone message and super chat.
I think it's because I called him to attention.
If you accidentally delete a super chat from me, Tina, you can always just hit that little $sign down there. It's okay. We'll even drink to you. Remember the drinking rules. Ain't single super chat. We'll do social. $20 more. We'll do shot.
Oh hell, I'll give him a shot now just for trying. Hell.
He's giving it up for free. By the way, will you two put your fucking avatars back on? You guys are showing your titties.
Mine is on.
No,
On
it's
the
not. No, we don't.
on
see
the
it.
stream side, on the StreamYard side, my avatar is up. It's only on the freaking YouTube
all right.
side or
Look,
whatever.
That's a negative
look,
impact there, homeboy.
Okay, all right. Boomers, listen to him on this one. All right. Y'all's VCRs blink 12 o'clock. We know where this goes. Do not argue with them on this.
I knew how to set my VCR, youngin.
Well, you don't know how to
Thank
get rid of
you.
your titty. Okay.
The fact that you still have a VCR.
I
shows
can't
that
do
you're
anything
just
about my
a boomer.
titty on the freaking YouTube side. Okay, I'm looking at my phone from which I am talking to you, and I see my Shellback avatar plain.
Let's see if this helps. I'm gonna guess it's not.
Oh yeah. Oh, you
no,
gonna bring them back?
Still
Okay.
got some titties. Tracy K popping in for $1.99.
Shit, I'll drink
Sorry.
for $1.99. Hell.
Sorry, got bills out the wazoo at the moment. Well, thank you. Well, appreciate you got the bills. You know, I'm not saying if you got hardship and money, I don't want you to drop a super chat, but it's greatly appreciated anyway. So we give it cheers. And
Tracy, I'm going to throw back
you?
a shot of Bush Mills for your $1.99. Thank you very much.
Social. Much appreciated, Tracy K, who will also be a moderator over on Rumble as soon as I can get on there and set that up. Yeah, Body out here. I guess Body is a part of we got the Comics Gate raid going on that Miss Sheila Aliens is bringing our way. Much appreciated to all of you guys. Thank you.
There's a few questions I do want asked though, and I want verification on, because I'm not going to make the claim and say this is what happened. I want to know if it did happen, and this is something I need to do probably like after the stream, whatever. Is if Jack Smith, that retard, actually asked the select committee or J6 committee, the unselect committee, to destroy the evidence. I've been hearing that cycling around, and I again, a lot of your
I doubt there's any evidence to be destroyed.
No, when they mean by evidence is what they're using as evidence, meaning that when when Tucker released all that video information in that what's that? No, the QAnon shaman.
Oh yeah.
As soon as that was used basically to get him out. So
I know him, by the way.
Oh, good. You should have him on here.
I did try to reach out. We were friends on Facebook, but I think his Facebook got shut down. I can't reach him. By the way, I don't know him that personally. I knew him because this was that time when I was at Phoenix, Arizona, which is where he's from. We met at some of these rallies. It's before he became so famous as he is infamous now. But yeah.
I made a comic with him in it.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
I think you showed some pictures.
It was basically a little comic strip now about how the left was telling the story, where basically it showed like President Trump now inside of his limousine or whatever, and he's on his phone call or whatever with him, and he's like, "Thank you, Mr. Shaman. That'll be all." And he's like, "All right, boys, let's go into the Capitol." It's like, it's basically and then he says. Then Trump's like turns around to his driver and says, "All right, take me back to the Capitol." "No, sir, I have orders now to take you back." Blah, blah, blah. And he reaches through the glass, breaks through that bulletproof glass, and puts him in a chokehold. And he said, "I have news for you. You're fired. This is MAGA country." The way that the woman was telling him that he reached through that, you can't do that because it's a separated compartment. It's a sealed compartment because of gas, for gas attacks and stuff like that. It's basically a tank.
Yeah. Like the same like how the boats, those speed boats, they have like there's a capsule that's completely separated from the rest of the boat.
I forgot what that one was. Ashley some another. I forgot what her name was.
But yeah.
They got
real quick before I pop in with my continuation in this bad take, Bojan popping in for $20. Much appreciated for that. And since we've gotten into a bit of a goofy mood, I'm going to give you one of our little videos here. Tina says, or bad take, however she wants to go by, however she self-identifies. Super chat for Samuel the Infamous missing message. Okay, wink. And let's go ahead and we'll just go ahead and scare the hell out of everyone with some dermy footage.
Hey.
I was wondering how Thumper was going to like that.
Hey.
It's you, Tina.
Yeah, that's one of those hard times in the field for 90 days.
Thumper, we're going to have to get you on Saturday so you can meet Dermy.
Don't
Who
put
dat?
him through that.
Oh, don't worry. You'll get to know him. Wednesdays, we'll get you on Saturday's show, and you'll get to know Dermy. The vein of Raster Caster's existence.
What's up with that? They're like polar opposites or what?
He's our punching bag. He's not a vet. This Thursday stream for Knife Hands, we make this exclusively for veterans only. I mean, on the panel, obviously you don't have to be a veteran to watch this. But the Saturday show, we have a couple of our non-veteran friends, and Dermy's one of our non-veteran friends. He's basically a 6'5" baby, big old
So he
baby.
gets his ass handed to him regularly.
By Raster, yes.
If there was a live action version of Baby Huey, Dermy would be it.
Shit. I actually went to basic training with a guy that looked like Baby Huey. He made it like, I don't know, 8 hours maybe.
Oh shit. He was out on day one.
They hand delivered his ass up to battalion and said, "I will not." I was like, damn.
I remember a couple. I very, very vaguely remember those guys because it was so quick, and your very first experience in the Army, and these guys who just can't even handle being yelled at for fucking 5 minutes. They're just gone like that.
Both of my granddads were grunts in World War II. My dad did Korea and 2 tours in Vietnam. I was a 17-year-old kid, junior in high school, when I went to basic training. It was like being around Dad, actually.
Yeah.
Except I had a black one and a white one. They took turns.
So you're mixed. You're mixed then.
Well, yeah. Let's say what. Drill Sergeant White was the black guy, and Drill Sergeant Smalls was the black guy. Black guy loved to push up, and he loved push up, and the white guy loved to run. So one day you're going to get dogged, the next day you're going to run your ass off, and there was no in between about that.
So okay. We'll definitely have to. We'll set up we're gonna do a segment at some point. We might just make it an entire Thursday show out of this, talking about like our, quote unquote war stories, whether it be actual war stories or basic training and all this fucking crazy shit that we would do in garrison. I think we might do bowling. We might.
No shit.
Yeah.
Barracks games, baby.
The barracks games are the fucking best. We'll definitely set up like an official time and time for something like that. Real quick though, I want to share this because this is pretty amazing. I don't know. Let me see if I remember. So this guy Mario Narfall, he's been Narfall, however you pronounce it. He's been putting out a lot of good stuff as far when news drops. So what he's this apparently was something that was presented during one of the January 6th briefings. And I know this is not going to be new to everybody, but it still is pretty amazing that with all this persecution of Donald Trump and the fact that they're saying that he can't say what he said because he incited violence. And yet this has been presented on the floor in Congress.
We have some video to play that highlights some of what I'm talking about. I preface this video by noting I am not showing you this video as some excuse for Mr. Trump's speech. This is not about This is not whataboutism. I am showing you this to make the point that all political speech must be protected.
Absolutely.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be.
There needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
You got to be ready to throw a punch. You have to be ready to throw a punch.
Trump, I think you need to go back and then punch him in the face.
That I thought he should have punched him in the face.
I feel like punching him.
I'd like to take him behind the gym if I were in high school. If we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him. No, I wish we were in high school. I could take him behind the gym.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
Take him out now.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
Please get up in the face of some Congress people.
People will do what they do.
I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price.
We're going to go in there. We're going to.
This is just a warning to you Trumpers. Be careful. Walk lightly. And for those of you who are soldiers, make them pay.
If you had to be stuck in an elevator with either President Trump, Pence, or Jeff Sessions, who would it be? Does one of us have to come out alive?
Oh, that's hilarious. She insinuated that she's gonna kill somebody.
You know what?
Yeah,
I would actually,
again,
like to see that shit happen.
It's okay when they do it.
Fuckers would get plowed.
Well, but that's the man's point. Like you say, he prefaced it with saying that it's not about whataboutism. It's talking about equal application of the law. If you're gonna if you're gonna sit there and on a whim, I'm talking about like it was done so quickly and without hardly any kind of looking into or anything, that a phone call, the perfect phone call to Ukraine and her president was his first impeachment.
Yeah.
So they impeached him on that, but we're now Biden's looking at like up to the eyeballs on something that this right here will make Nixon blush, and not no one's ever like they're talking now. Republicans, I think most Republicans are useless. They're retarded. I do not trust them. And they sit there and say, well, we're going to have a committee to think about impeachment. I'm like, no, fuck you. Yeah. Fuck you.
I see most Republicans kind of like Asa Hutchinson. They're just a bunch of useless sacks of shit that have ED.
Honestly, you would bring up Asa Hutchinson because you're in Arkansas.
Because he's a useless sack of shit.
I guarantee, like very few other people even know who that is.
He's the governor of Arkansas, or used to be.
The ones that are worth a shit, are freaking Gates and Marjorie Taylor Greene and any of the other quote unquote MAGA Republicans.
Jim Jordan is a good one.
Actually, anybody that is pumped
none of them are good
about the Constitution is a good guy. Everybody else,
I'm not gonna suck none of them's dick. All of them are horrible. They speak to their base. They tell you what you want to hear. Jim Jordan's no different. He would tweet the best tweets I've ever seen. He sounds really strong on Twitter, but he's sure a damn limp dick now when it comes to actually doing something and everything. The talking is done. And the fact that none of these fuckers have actually done anything, Marjorie Taylor Greene and everything, see, that's another thing. People have a problem remembering shit that they've done. Marjorie Taylor Greene and everything was one of the ones that was actually in the Freedom Caucus and everything that actually said, hey, come on, guys, y'all should go ahead and vote for this fucker. Now, what's his face? Speaker of the House. Damn, McCarthy. All right, so she's saying, come on, guys. She was not one of the votes now that was holding them up on getting him into.
She was down for voting for McCarthy. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, she was down for voting for him. Yes. She was not one of the holdouts. Gates was.
I think it's because they're unable to act unless they have all the seats filled.
But the thing is that you can. But the thing is that now they hold the House or whatever, that they still cannot get anything done. They do not. They don't even try. And the thing is, you should already have them. The motherfucker should be already be impeached. They should be dragging him right now.
Yeah. I mean, as far as
Actually, if we had a functional government, the Secret Service would have put Biden down already.
Well, we're not going to get into that part of it, but here's my opinion on the impeachment thing. Is I know you're going to disagree with on this, but I know that here's the thing: is that if they impeach him, it could likely pass the House, but it will not get through the majority Democrat Senate. And when it fails, you look at every single failed impeachment, and it boosts massively electorally for that person for the next election. It happened to Clinton. It happened to Clinton. When Clinton's fucking impeachment went through, which, by the way, Clinton was impeached. He just wasn't removed from office. But when he was impeached, all it did was boost his fucking popularity and got him reelected. And I think
well, it's a difference.
That's a large consideration that people are looking at right now.
Well, it's different from lying about getting a blowjob. It's another thing than about all the stuff going.
I know, but that is fucking optics. That's the optics of the impeachment. Is what I'm saying, though.
But the thing is, though, his base is supposed to be your working class people, people like your poor people, and all that kind of stuff. That's supposed to be your theoretical base. But yet you're going to have a rich white guy and everything that's going to sit there and throw billions of dollars at the Ukraine, while his son, knowing that old Jerome and everything, that's that's been like his whole family and everything has been black. They're black or whatever. They've been voting Democrat forever or whatever, and they're going to have they know they got their one of their cousins, Jerome or whatever, that's been thrown in jail and everything for doing crack or selling crack or whatever. And then meanwhile, you got Hunter Biden or whatever that's getting jobs based on who he's related to, knowing he's dumber than a box of rocks and everything, getting paid over $800,000 a month. And no one is going to get funneled to his family in their several states.
Yeah.
No, fuck that. The optics on that is not going to be good, because that all will have to come out. They want to sit there and right now, as the media has not been focusing on it, but they have shown that they actually can prove, because of the dumbass how Hunter is like the linchpin in all this, is that it would take a long time to figure out now where to even look if you didn't have the laptop. But the laptop is actually showing people that are actually doing their jobs where to look so they can connect the dots. They can actually show right now and everything that there was a gift given from one of the oligarchs or whatever over in the Ukraine to Hunter, that he ended up turning around and buying a Porsche.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's just one thing, one tiny thing out of the entire thing.
One tiny thing that people just simply need to be exposed to, just like they should have been exposed to the video of Joe Biden saying, "Well, son of a bitch, he got fired." But just like Mike was saying earlier, there are so many people out there who have been secluded from the truth because of the fucking gaslighting, that they just don't even hear or see this information.
Yeah, but
they're supposed to not saying it.
Well, most people are not going to change their mind.
Remove their heads from their 4 points of contact, they could actually see what's going on.
What's Gucci mad? I know we're talking a bunch of stuff you don't like to talk about, but you're always welcome to hop on in here, boy.
But yeah,
the whole from Horny Alf also. Come on, jump on, dude.
But the whole thing with I firmly believe that most people that voted for Biden would not even change their vote. I've lost so much faith in the American people that I certainly believe that if they could sit there and say that Hunter and both Joe have a bunch of crack whores in the back of their trunk of that Corvette and in the garage too, or whatever, and no one's going to ever do anything about it. They would still vote for Biden because he's not Trump. And the fact that because they do not like Trump, they say, well, in this case, it's okay to just completely just do away with someone's basic rights. You're first of your first by our standards and by the Constitution or whatever. What we Americans consider human rights is right there in the Constitution and everything. With the first starting of all, First Amendment, Second Amendment too. It's a human right. We saying that it's not given. There's rights not given to you by the government. It is a rights given to you by your Creator,
and it's protected by the Constitution.
Protected by the Constitution. So by in that sense, it's a human right. So if our own government's willing to violate the human rights of the 45th president, tell me how in the hell and everything that you think you can sit there at any point in time and everything on your pulpit or whatever to sit there and tell somebody and everything that Trump bad guy. So it's a means to an end. We can violate whatever we want to. And you're so stupid to think that won't be turned around on you later, because there's a thing called case law.
Well, that's where all the useful idiots come in, because just like the Soviets and the Chinese did, okay, as soon as Lenin took power in Russia, the first thing he did was anybody that was against him, even in the slightest way, was dead. Teachers, professors, any learned individual was dead. Anybody that could lead any group of people was dead.
Hitler did the same thing too.
Yeah, if they weren't completely on board with him and pretty much sucked his ass from dusk till dawn, they were dead. And
my biggest thing is like my question to go all left is like simple. Do you trust your government? And I was like, would you trust the government with everything, every facet of your life?
I trust the government with one thing and one thing only: to fuck up everything they touch.
Well, yeah, but I mean, my thing is, I want them to answer that question, and I guarantee you, I honestly believe that a majority of them, if they're being in good faith, if they're really being in good faith, they're going to sit there and answer no. And then I want to sit there and say, well, then why is it that every time you turn around now, and that's that you believe that to be the answer to your problem is more government? And you're going to sit there and then turn around and say, well, do you believe that our government is acting appropriately when it comes to Trump? I was like, just because you I get it. You don't like him. You do not like Trump. That you do. If you don't like the guy, and that's one thing. But I'm gonna tell you right now, at least I happen to know the wherewithal to sit there and be honest. If the tables were turned, and we tried to, say if all of us hate, say if by some kind of miracle now, because we all know we all thought of Obama. And then we try to think, so well, this guy also had a cult following. People, there's actors that quit their jobs and stuff and to get on his campaign, like Cal Penn or whatever. From Harold Kumar goes White Castle and shit. Yep. Yeah, people. Yeah, I mean, the guy had everything. It had the perfect campaign and everything you think of. And you're gonna sit there and tell me and everything that if everybody on the right now was just as fucked up now as they are on the left now, and we try to prosecute Obama on some bullshit or whatever, like killing that American kid over there. So I mean, what I'm trying to say is that I would not support this even if we were trying to do this to Obama. Yeah, just because I don't like him.
And that's the point that we're getting at too. Is we follow the rule of law, and also that means that our law is supposed to be blind. It doesn't matter what your political views are, the color of your skin, anything else. It should be equal to absolutely everybody. But in this situation, what we're in now is a police state. It is 100%. It's not we are going into a police state, into a banana republic. We're fucking there now, where not only is our law, our Department of Justice 100% on the side of one single political aisle, but also every single bit of our media is completely complicit in it, in spreading the propaganda to have everyone believe that it is completely justifiable to persecute somebody like Trump just simply because his name is Donald J. Trump at this point. Nobody even fucking cares anymore. This is a police state. You are living in a police state.
Yeah, but see, you're talking to a bunch of people that still think that Che Guevara was a freaking hero.
Che Guevara would put most gays against the wall, and that's been
He
proven.
would put
that
all
did.
the gays against the wall. He
And-
would
and
also put all
there's
the
nothing more
teachers and the
ironic than a-
professors against the wall.
There's nothing more
But he wouldn't
moronic
shoot 'em,
and
he'd gut
ironic
'em.
than a gay person wearing a Che Guevara t-shirt.
Absolutely. Yep. Or black as well.
Right.
He was a fucking racist beyond belief as well. And,
Yeah,
and
but
for
see-
for black people to support him is crazy.
That's where it goes back to the education system that I brought up way back in the start of this. These people have been fed that this guy is a freaking folk hero, like right up there with George Washington and shit.
Well, just kind of like with Al Sharpton got up on NBC and sat there and talking about now. Can you imagine someone like James Madison and you know, and try to overthrow the government? I'm like, motherfucker, he did.
Yeah,
he overthrew the entire fucking
a bunch of goddamn
the British Empire.
That's kind of what they're known for.
Bunch of
Yeah,
fucking
dumbass.
farmers went out there and kicked the shit out of the greatest army in the world at their time frame.
Yeah, it's not like
the
it's not like
fucking-
George Washington crossing Delaware to kill a bunch of people in the opposing army in the middle of the night, right on Christmas too.
Yeah,
Like
but
the
he's also
Sons
the
of
same
Liberty,
guy
man.
that said, "What sets the American soldier apart from all other soldiers in the world is that he will die on his feet rather than live on his knees."
Amen.
We don't have.
Well, I will say now in our current military, I'm not sure if that's true or not now, and they really probably love being on their knees a lot.
Yeah.
Hey, man, all this woke bullshit was starting when I got out of the Army. And it's one of the reasons why I got out of the Army, other than my ability to piss off people that were above me because of their stupidity or lack of intelligence.
Well, to be fair, I mean the entire the woke title and all that is more of a modern creation. You know, I got into the Army in 2000. Woke wasn't around. What really was happening was
in 2000. That shit was still going on, man.
the military, but the military is becoming weaker. I wouldn't even say that even in my time that it was really truly pussified. You know, like it really started getting bad after I got out in 2009. You know, there was. Yeah, Don't Ask, Don't Tell got repealed under Obama, if I'm not mistaken. I got in 09. So I got out when he was being inaugurated was when I drove through Washington, D.C. from North Carolina back up to Vermont. And it was during that time period under Obama when really the military got fucking weak as shit. You know, Don't Ask, Don't Tell was repealed. They put out many I forget what you call them, but they put out like quizzes, tests. What am I thinking of? Where
the litmus test.
A litmus test. Yes, exactly. You got it. They put
That's
out
when they
litmus
started
tests.
getting rid of all the senior NCOs.
They
and all
got
the
yep.
officers.
Anyone who was willing to not capitulate to the fucking unconstitutional,
anybody that
illegal orders, they were
if they
fucking
weren't
removed.
Good to go with firing on civilian population.
Exactly. So that's exactly why we are where we are now. For the same reason why no one can understand why all of a sudden every single one of these news agencies, why fucking CNN, MSNBC, CBS, ABC, every single one of these fucking channels, they all march in lockstep all of a sudden because leadership got put into fucking place for them to all work together to be one massive fucking propaganda machine of the U.S. government. It's the same thing now. Unfortunately, under Obama, he fucking warped our fucking military by putting leadership in that were nothing more than pussy ass little fucking lemmings who will do whatever the fuck they're told by the right person.
Yeah. Now, one thing I will go back to is that Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Okay, personally, I don't really give a shit about that because, okay, I don't care who you want to fuck in the privacy of your own home. I don't care. You can do anybody you want to. You can do it any way you want to. I don't care.
Let's limit that a little bit, like, you know, children.
But okay, but the thing is,
yeah,
not anybody.
I mean, really, I don't care because
as long as it's consensual and legal, yeah.
Okay, but I mean, as long as they're not trying to rub it in my face or trying to get me on board with it, I don't care.
Yeah, or tell me that I have to speak a certain way and I have to use certain language. You can just fucking kiss my ass. I'm not buying into any of that fucking bullshit. And then the biggest thing beyond that is leave the fucking kids out of it. That's
I have
all
told
we
more
ask.
than one first sergeant to suck my dick. Excuse my French.
Suck a dick, suck a dick, suck a motherfucking dick, suck a dick, suck a huge or small.
And you should have seen his face when I said it to the battalion commander.
And on that note, Samuel the Infamous popping with another $20. Thank you very much. Samuel says, speaking as a friend to several Muslims, it's hysterical when the alphabet crew shills for Islam. Dude, I'll tell you what, man.
Islam is going to be the preferred religion for the New World Government.
Dude, well, Islam is only a tool right now. You got to realize that. Like, okay, I know what he's talking about here because on my first tour, when I was on a fob for almost damn near the entire time, and we would go on patrols. I made friends with these kids around there. We even had someone there. They're feeding us intelligence from time to time and everything because you made friends with them. But you got to know them. You got to understand them. And then also when I went to PSYOP after that, now I'm actually doing fucking full on studies on Muslims and Islam, and I have a deeper understanding of the religion and everything. And you better believe when I started hearing all these people talking about defending Islam and the LGBT community and all this, I've been laughing ever since. Like, you guys have no fucking clue what the hell who you're talking about here.
Those people gut homosexuals and throw them off of 4-story buildings.
Yeah.
You know what's funny though is so when my squadron had to go spend a little time in Saudi Arabia, right? And there was still construction going on in the base and stuff, and but we'd kind of like supplement the base security, so a couple of the guys that were on security detail walked into one of the buildings and walked in on a couple of TCNs, third country nationals.
That's a term I've never heard. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It basically, non-Saudi people from other surrounding
I got you,
countries.
man. But yeah, go ahead.
Anyway, they walked in on them, each other packing each other's fudge. So this.
They're manufacturers.
This thing about them being, like totally against that type of life, it's they're like they're a little hypocritical.
Well,
a little bit. Before hold on, Thumper. Before we go on, we have to honor Samuel the Infamous properly with the $20 because anything over $20 or more, we all do shots. So we got this. Okay, go. Get another fun video of our friend Dermy, who hopefully you'll be on Saturday.
Baby.
Cheers to you, Dermy and Samuel the Infamous, for the shot. Thank you. All right, go ahead. What were you going to say, Thumper?
Oh, yeah. One thing about these guys, especially the Afghans, they have this thing called Baka Boys.
Oh, yeah, dude.
You've experienced that, right?
I
will.
experienced that actually in Tunisia.
They will claim that they're not homosexual, but they will only sleep with their wife to make babies. Otherwise, they sleep with a Baka boy.
Yeah.
And that's supposed to be given the ultimate blessing by the Quran.
Somehow, I don't know. I think I can only assume that, the little boy thing has to somehow be associated with the same thing. Like, I'm sure it's not just the Catholics, but there is the terrible thing going on with the Catholics. We've all heard about it with the priests molesting little boys. That somehow the fucking Bible apparently doesn't specifically say that you can't do that. Well,
actually, it does. It says you do not sleep with a man as you would a woman.
It says don't lay with a man, but it apparently doesn't say anything about a boy. I'm only assuming that's what it. But anyways, yes, it's the same thing. Like, yes, also in Tunisia, we trained with Tunisian special forces, and I saw these little fucking boys running around. And I asked, "What the hell are those boys doing inside our compound here?" And I think it was an interpreter or something I was talking to. "Oh, those are the soldiers' boys." What the fuck does that mean, the soldiers' boys? So I think this person said something like, "Just don't worry about it. Just do not talk to the soldiers' boys."
Special entertainment.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they were like their little fucking like servants and whatever also, but then also, yep, they fucking did what you can only assume is what was fucking going on there, and it's culturally appropriate for some fucking reason. It's culturally appropriate. So
Yeah, well, that's not a culture thing. That's a Islam thing.
Yeah, I don't get it. But one thing I do know that, you know, in the studies I did when I was working PSYOP and doing studies on Islam is we did not get to any point as to why they thought that it's okay to be diddling little boys. It also says not to corrupt children. I mean, yeah. Well. Here's the thing: is at least, you know, with you know the New Testament, you have Jesus Christ specifically saying, you know, one of the lines from the movie The Sound of Freedom, Jim Caviezel, it was not in the script, but he gave the phrase. I can't remember the exact. If anybody can remember exactly what it was like, it would be better for you to have a something mill hang over your neck in the sea than to harm a millstone than to harm these children. In other words, it's better that we let you, you know, you take concrete shoes and take a swim in the ocean than to harm children, which is straight up fucking gangster on Jesus Christ's part. But apparently, it's very awesome that the individual who was the basis of that story, I forget his name, if anybody can remember, the actual original agent who saved these children. And
Tim. Shit. Now you.
Well, it wasn't Tim Shit, but that might be close.
Yeah.
Really? Was he German? He was German, right?
Tim Scheiser? Was it Tim Scheiser? No, but he
Ballard.
said
Tim Ballard. Yeah.
Tim Ballard, yes, Tim Ballard. Yeah. He said that amazingly, he didn't even tell Jim Caviezel this when Jim Caviezel just impromptu put that in the line. Tim says that was one of his like a prayer of his or a mantra of his every single time he would go into an operation. And I'm getting chills even thinking about that. So imagine that when these operations were really happening, when this guy was taking out the fucking the bad people, because I know Twitter, YouTube can slap me for saying the wrong word. When they go to these operations, he would say that same prayer / mantra, and then Jim Caviezel just happened to make that do that same thing, and they put it in the movie, and it was. You can call it coincidence, but I mean, I really do feel like there is actually I'm being so honest here that there's really like a godly presence with that movie. And the fact that these guys came together to make such an amazing product and something like that is just more, I think just more evident that it was meant to be, man. It was meant to be. That movie, I've been wanting also to make a proper review of that movie. I just haven't done it yet, but all I gotta say, man, is that everyone's got to see it. Everyone's got to see it, and
it took them 5 years, 5 years to bring it to the quote unquote surface. You know, that movie was made 5 years ago.
Yeah, and who also we cannot forget about, who's popping in here. Looks like he's gonna be taking off. Blue Cordero popping in for another $20. Thank you so much, my friend. Let me go ahead and pour my shot for you, buddy. Blue Cord Devil, our great friend here, says, peace and prayers, Adam and everyone else. Thank you for the prayers tonight. I'll watch the rest tomorrow. Watch your 6. Prayers, hands. Thank you so much, Blue Cord Devil. Thoughts, love, and prayers for you. You're amazing now, angel of a wife, and all of your family. Thank you so much. Cheers to you, my friend.
Have a good night, Blue Cord.
Have a good night, buddy. Yes, divine intervention. Thank you. I'm not a fully coherent man all the time, and my synapses and synapses, or how the word is, aren't always clicking together like they should. As I've noticed now that I've gotten to my 40s. What are you saying, Thumper?
Your synapses aren't synapting.
The synapses are not snapping together like they used to. This is true. Samuel the Infamous popping back in with another $5. Thank you, Samuel. Says, I don't care what any god said about it. Don't touch little ones if you don't want to kiss a wood chipper. Ooh, I agree with that. I agree with that. And also,
wood chipper's too fast.
Wood chipper is too fast. They need to suffer even more. Oh, I got rid of it. I used to have the sound effect for say hello to my little friend. I replaced it. I don't have it anymore. That's too bad.
How about a weed eater to the block and tackle?
Yes. How about this?
If you think this has a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention.
Come on, somebody tell me what that's from.
Play it again. I didn't hear it.
Oh God.
If you think this has a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention.
Thumper, I know you've seen it.
Anyway,
Thumper, we talked about this show. I know you saw it.
I know, and I can't spit it out. It's sitting right on the end of my tongue right now.
Oh wait, now I can't remember the fucking name of the show.
Yeah. Okay, welcome to old age, motherfucker.
Boomercast, everyone.
It's when old boy's about to chop off the other dude's fucking dick, and
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. My God, I can remember the name of the book, A Song of Ice and Fire, but I couldn't remember the name of the actual show, which is Game of Thrones.
Dude, that freaking Ramsey was a little prick. God.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
I took away Homeboy's favorite toy.
Dude, I remember thinking how great it was to watch the little prick, the little fucking blonde-haired prick who took over as king, to see him die. But when Ramsey got eaten by the fucking the wolves,
his own dogs,
his own dogs, that felt even better, man. I mean that show did a great job. That show did a great job of really giving you satisfaction in seeing people die. Like none. What can you say is better, Raster?
The death was too short. Look, I guess people's standards on vengeance and everything is a little more soft core than me, but I mean I could have thought the way to drag it out. I have my way of how I would torture somebody, but I mean
I'm not saying that it couldn't have been a more gruesome death. I'm saying that on TV, yes, Joffrey, thank you, Tina. Yes, Joffrey on TV, which was better, because you get so much satisfaction from seeing people like Joffrey and Ramsey die. Can you give me an example of a show or a movie that gave you better satisfaction from seeing absolute a-holes die?
RoboCop.
I don't know.
I'm not going to agree with that one. I'm not going to agree with that one.
Every one of the fuckers, that all the bad guys now that you really wanted to died in a really awesome way.
I'm waiting for somebody to cinemize this. Bury them up to their neck in sand. I'm thinking somewhere out on Fort Benning where the red ants are about 3 inches long. Cut their eyelids off and pour honey over their head. While got their wrist and their
you got to be
you got to
be realistic about it. I can tell you right now, they're going to die. Okay, there's this thing called
they will die of exposure first, but it's going to take a long time.
No.
48 hours.
You can't stay buried with just your head out down there. It's about your chest now. It's like reason why it's not realistic or safe to tie somebody up, put them in the back of the trunk of the car. They'll
ever been at Fort Benning?
I'm talking. It don't matter where you put at and everything. If it's the weight, if you can't have your chest expand or whatever appropriately and everything, you'll die from asphyxiation.
Yeah, kind of like dying on a cross. Dying on a cross would take you, 12 to 24 hours. You would be blind in about 10 hours with your eyelids cut off.
Like, okay.
And it would take you roughly another 10, 12 maybe to die.
In my state, in my state or whatever, for people now that's actually they're a threat to harm themselves or whatever. It's one of the few states where it's legal to do it, but I have not seen it done. Is that where you can be restrained to a restraint chair, and is actually part of even though it's outdated, even when they wrote it into law, they had the wherewithal to know to put it in there as a policy to actually once every hour you have to by law release one limb, meaning you have to unrestrain one because you will die.
Did I just hear somebody doing armpit farts?
It's probably Shellback.
No, it's not.
Is that your imagination going
What
off
the
again?
fuck was that
Are you-
sound I just heard?
I heard something.
I heard something, but I don't know. It wasn't me.
Yeah, but your thing moved when you did it. I could have swore it
What?
moved.
No.
You were watching
Yeah.
his thing.
Dude, there is
sound
nobody.
bubble.
No,
Don't be watching
So-
his thing.
I
Man.
don't think so.
So Patrick Bowser agrees. I'd rather get creative with it. I mean, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, when we're talking especially, you know, like the really sick motherfuckers out there, like an Epstein or something like that. Yeah, we need to find a very
right.
creative way to finish them
All right.
all.
Hey,
What a
man, that thing I
pedophile.
was just describing, that was the thing that Geronimo used to do to white people when they invaded New Mexico.
All right. See, if I was like a you know the good dictator that I would be,
You'd be the good
and
dick.
I had the
A good
power.
dictator?
The benevolent one.
Yes, I would have the power of the government behind me, which means I would have a bunch of experts on hand to be able to carry out my torture in the most proper way. Again, this is just me. First of all, what you would do is I would want to be in a sterile environment and with the best medical care. I would want somebody's tongue, eyes, and eardrums removed from them.
Okay,
And
so you
also,
want to
and also, I want them to cauterize their nasal passages so they cannot smell, so they can't see. You take away all 5 senses except for touch. Now, at this point, I would also have them. I also surgically amputate the both arms and both legs, so they're nothing more than a torso and a head. They can't see or do anything themselves, and they want them. And then they're given a feeding tube. All right, and then what you do for the rest of their life, you put them in a cell or whatever, a padded room, so nothing can happen. They can just flop around as a little armless person or whatever. And what you do is that they don't know what time or day it is now, but about like on irregular intervals, somebody goes in there and beats the crap out of them. So they don't know if the next person coming in is going to either come in there to put food in their feeding tube or beat them.
So as much as I love that,
I could live with that.
You know what? No. Okay.
That's
you know
how
what?
you handle pedophile.
Tracy, we'll get back to that in a second. Go ahead.
You want a professional Byzantine is what you want, because they were the world's best during their time frame at cutting out the tongue and blinding people, because that's how they got rid of useless sack of shit leadership. Their guard would haul them off and they'd blind them, because if you were blind, you're incapable of holding leadership position.
Here's my thing. I would sit there and say is like, if I were to like, say if you said that, okay, all right, Raster, you're gonna have that, you have control of the federal government. You can do whatever you want to for if there's only 2 things I would get done, it would be one thing, is that any punishment for any type of corruption for any part of anybody in the government would be death. That would be the thing, is that, and that would, first of all, that would not make a lot of people want to serve, because it's like, oh shit, if I fuck it up, if I get even accusation, that means I'm going to get the death penalty. Hey, fuck that, I ain't going to do that. If I'm going to do something corrupt and do something like that, I'll just do it some other way. So that means you're going to have to get to see either someone that's really fucking crazy, that's going to like put everything on the line to get a death penalty and everything. Forget, like, okay, stuff that happened to Ukraine or whatever, they wouldn't do that because like, oh shit, I'll get the death penalty. All right, another thing I would do is fucking term limits for one thing, but I think that's kind of easy, whatever. But I do think that there should be a higher standard for politicians at the federal level. I do think that there should be a stronger penalty, that just because that, like, okay, so what you're charging Trump with or whatever, I was like, if it was a legit charge, I'd be like, yeah, death penalty. But it's not a legit charge.
For like treason and everything, but obviously it's not. Yeah, it's not legit in any way, shape, or form.
Well, if you really think about it,
if you're taking money from a lobbyist, I think you should get the death penalty. If you take money from a
Everybody in
lobbyist, you
Congress
should get
is
the death
guilty
penalty.
of treason right now.
Well,
Everybody.
I mean, if you're, I mean, if you are working outside of the interests of the U.S. government, especially if you're doing anything that's going to harm the U.S.
No,
government,
not the U.S. government. The
not
people of
the
United
government.
States.
Yeah, I don't know why I even said government. The of the U.S. Not the fuck the government. Okay, I mean,
What's the matter, you? Huh?
I don't. Yeah, I don't know why I said the government. I slapped myself. I'm bad. Yes, outside the interests of the U.S., which of course it is us American, us citizens. We are the ones who are in charge of this country. We run this country. We are supposed to be in charge of our government. If we dislike our government, then we can abolish it and start a new one. That is our fucking right.
LOL.
No.
But okay, so the thing is though is that I think that I think any type of form of lobbying, if you okay, this is what one thing I would want for lobbying. I would want lobbying to be done only within office hours, and it has to take place at the office, and it has to be video and audio recorded at all times. Every part of because lobbying does serve a purpose. So lobbying can occur, but everybody each day or whatever, that's uploaded to like the a representative or senator's website. And you can actually upload and say, okay, I want to see your meeting and everything with such and such with Pfizer. Okay, cool. All right. Well, can I take you out to dinner? No, it has to happen in the office, and it has to be recorded in our room that's in a recorded environment. If you do not do that, and they try to take them out to dinner and have privately held things that cannot be transcripted, that's the death penalty. I'm not saying I'm not advocating for violence. I'm just saying that I think there should be a law on the books and everything that corruption should be a capital offense.
Well, I mean, no matter what, there needs to actually be true penalties. There needs to be true penalties for our higher level individuals who are supposed to be servants of this fucking country, who are not serving this country, who are only being detrimental to this country. But instead of actually serving and seeing the ultimate penalty, which in some cases treason does call for that ultimate fucking penalty.
Treason,
It's
exactly,
happened for a lot, but yet they're not even seeing even the lowest level of penalties for so many fucking crimes. So I mean,
And they serve pretty much a lifetime in their office.
But like I said, I'm not advocating for violence or anything against anybody or anything like that. I'm just saying that in my ideal world, that there would be stricter, there would be heavier like penalties, such as the death penalty for people in government or whatever. Because I mean, you affect so much larger part of the population. And the fact that there's a lot of unknowns that happen to it and everything, you're handling something very fragile. I really do believe that freedom is very fragile, and we do not have freedom. We do not. The idea that we have freedom now is a joke.
No, you're right. I mean, you're
absolutely
absolutely right.
right.
That's what I was saying earlier. Like I'm simply echoing Dan Bongino when I say this, that we don't live in a true constitutional democratic republic anymore. We do, in fact, this is no exaggeration, live in a police state. Our Department of Justice is completely weaponized at this point against its American citizens. So it's not an exaggeration in any way, shape, or form. Thumper,
Well,
go ahead.
I think that the federal government should bring back the death penalty, and it should be implemented liberally. There should be no life sentence to prison. Couple, 3, 5 years maybe. But if you're a violent criminal, you're guilty, dead.
I just don't think that. I just
And it
don't
should
believe
be
that
it should
the
be
penalty
shown
was strong
on
enough.
public television.
There's too much of like, oh, I'll just pay a fine or I'll just get reprimanded or something like that. Like the dumbest thing I ever heard of and everything in the Senate is like, okay, oh, you got censored. Okay. Oh, well, that's a big, oh my God. I'm like, no. You need to be fearful of at least going to jail. No, there's just fines and you're just kicked out of office. No, you made a criminal offense. You used your office to do something corrupt.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing, I do want to expand upon this also. And remember, I've tried to pass this message on so many damn times. And I actually have a video. I was out hiking earlier. Yes, Raster, I was shirtless again. It was a hot fucking day. Y'all can call me fucking Harry Bane or whatever the fuck y'all want. I don't care. The video will come out tomorrow. But in the video, I was explaining, and I'm gonna say this every fucking time. No matter how bad things are getting right now, even when I'm sitting here saying that we are living in a police state, it is true. However, it's not at a point where it can't be turned around. This election upcoming is the most vital election of our fucking lifetime, very possibly of the entire fucking country, because they are working in a police state right now, and I can almost I can't. It's just, they are going to put in so much worse situations, so much more regulation. If these fucking people continue to keep control, we need a Trump or even a DeSantis or a Vivek, any of these three guys. I'll be happy with them. There's so many other people I'll be happy with, but you have to understand, if the powers that are in power right now still are there after this election, I can almost guarantee you we will lose this fucking country. I mean, it's gone, man. It is fucking game over. They've already put so much in place, and all they need is this one last step for the next 4 years after this to just make us into the true dictatorship that they fucking want.
See, I don't, people still say, oh, possibly DeSantis.
I don't really want to get into the minutia of which one, him and Han on which one. Obviously I'm a Trump guy more than anything else, but just all around though, we need to emphasize that this next election is so important. That people, the biggest point that points out is because there's so many people who are black-pilled. Not so much, even though Raster, I know you're black-pilled, but at least I know you're gonna vote for whoever is on that Republican ticket, whether it's DeSantis, Trump, or whatever. But people like Jesse, as much as I love Jesse, he's still a great guy, and I understand why he has the issue that he does with Trump when it comes to what happened with the vaccine, with the jab. The fact of the matter is that I really wish, and I tried to impress upon him, that I wish he would still understand that it's so important to back not just Trump, but whoever is on the Republican ticket, because of what's so important going forward.
Yeah, well, the thing I was going to say about DeSantis, and to me, which I don't know, Raster could probably, come back on me with the, what he thinks about Marjorie Taylor Greene and freaking McCarthy or whatever. But anyway, so I saw footage of DeSantis talking. Basically, he was on he was on the big pharma train. He was like actually pretty much like endorsing people getting the jab and stuff, and and this is like in more recent time, after all the after all the bullshit that we know that's going on with that kind of junk, and it's like, yeah, no, sorry, Ron, it's like, you did a decent job for Florida, good on you for that, but there's one man for the job, you're not it, and after I heard you say what you just said, you're definitely not the man. I don't need somebody who's in freaking Pfizer or whoever's pocket, which.
Well, if you think back, Trump endorsed it too.
Yeah, well, that's before he knew better, I think.
Well, the problem, he as far as the jab goes, he still went on campaign and was promoting the jab, even when he was getting booed for doing it, because it was his baby. He got convinced, and that's the thing, is that he got convinced by people he thought he could trust that the jab was a good idea, that this was something that needed to be done. And so when he thought that when Operation Warp Speed did what it did, he thought it was a major success on his part. He didn't know any better. Obviously, somebody was fucking lying to him.
Well, I mean,
and that's the biggest problem. That's also the biggest problem. Why Jesse needs to understand it's not all on Trump. Now, Jesse has the mentality that, oh, well, the leadership always needs to take responsibility. Sure, but more often than not, it's fucking symbolic. More often than not, like say like an operation that goes bad. Because of let's say some bad intel for a special operations event happens and a team gets wiped out. It's the fucking leadership still takes responsibility for calling the operation, but it was still the intel that was bad. And that's the case here with Trump. He was given bad intel when it comes to the jab. And I wish that Jesse could understand that. He still is going to hate on Trump until Trump recants that and apologizes for the operation for putting that jab out there. But he needs to understand there's no way Trump could have possibly known. He was just given bad information that he believed.
Right.
I concur.
Trust me, I was looking at the damn TV screen telling Donnie no too. I'm like, it's like you can call it Operation Warp Speed. You can be like, say that you got the shot, you're whatever yourself. I'm like, no, it's like, I was like, I got enough freaking stuff, injected into my body, freaking from having been in the military. I'm done. I'm good. My system is full. It's like, but it's just that I don't know. DeSantis, kind of jumping on that train while he's campaigning, before he's even been elected to the highest, office. No, I definitely, at one point I was like, DeSantis, you did a good job for Florida, and I was somewhat of a DeSantis fan as far as, the state of Florida
I was
goes.
too. I thought the guy was great. I was all about the possibility of him being president,
but I mean, since he's been on the campaign trail for president, I'm pretty much convinced, 99.999% convinced that DeSantis has gone down the rhino path,
Yeah.
So
it does look like he's been too good to be true, pretty much more than anything else. I want to kind of shift things because I know this conversation was happening in the chat. I kept pulling them up, but you guys got to understand the chat and everything. I do my very best to try to understand where the flow of the conversation is going, and this conversation is going too well to just immediately start shifting it over. Tracy K and a couple others were pointing out. In Tracy K's comment here says, where's Fort Benning? Never heard of it. Heard of Fort Moore or something. Just messing with you. Just like Fort Liberty, which is Fort Bragg. I'm messing with you on that one, Adam. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen it, I got a video out. It was my first and was supposed to be a continuing series, calling it the Woke Warrior News that I was planning on doing. I end up doing the breaking news thing more, that any single time I see that news is popping out that I think that could be very relevant, that not everybody's going to see. And it's happened quite a bit. That I've had some news stories out, like the kid that ran across, who defected. Essentially, he was an army soldier from South Korea. He was an American soldier who was stationed in South Korea, was defected and ran over into North Korea. I managed to get that one out before anybody heard about it. Like, it wasn't until a week later until that one popped out. But I want to do the Woke Warrior News often too. And that was my very first video for the Woke Warrior News, was highlighting the name changes that the military put out. Now, a lot of them were so fucking bad. Like, let's see. There's one of them down here. Yep, this one, they changed Fort. It's actually Hood. He did correct it. TX corrected it. Fort Hood was changed to Fort Cavazos. Now, the reason they chose this, who I can't remember what his rank was, but this Cavazos soldier was because he was the first Hispanic to do something. Damn near every fucking person, for the most part, that was selected for these new changes, because they removed the Confederate names. I'm using air quotes, but I mean they were Confederate soldiers. The reason they removed these Confederate soldiers' names into something that had something to do with soldiers because of their race or ethnicity or something like that. It didn't really. There are so many Medal of Honor recipients, so many great soldiers who've done so many things, but these people specifically, like Cavazos here, was selected to be named from Fort Hood to him because he was the first Hispanic to do something. Now, to go back, and I'm being kind of long-winded here, but to go back here to Fort Benning, which is where the infantry trained, is no longer Fort Benning now. It was changed to Fort Moore, which everyone keeps on saying, "Oh, that's fine," because he was eventually promoted general. He was the Lieutenant Colonel Moore at the time.
About Hal Moore.
Hal Moore, yep, did operate the element of the 1st Cavalry Division. That was historically written into the book, and then the movie We Were Soldiers Once and Young. An amazing officer. Everyone can agree on that. However, they didn't just fucking name for him. Guess what? They also named it for his wife.
What?
So yes, when you're at Fort Moore, you can take pride in the fact that you're stationed after a place who's named after someone's wife. Because you can't just have a white man these days. You can't have just a plain, straight white man be the name of a base. You have to also include his wife.
So
you want to know a funny statistic?
Go ahead, Thumper. No, Thumper, you were infantry. You trained there. Go ahead, dude.
Here's a funny statistic for you. Take the 11 southern United States, right? The ones that openly rebelled against the federal government, right? For the last 100 years, between 49 and 53% of all soldiers in all branches come from those 11 states. Currently, that percentage sits at 49%. It takes all of the other states combined to come up to 51%.
Sorry, I got completely distracted. No one else reacted to that. You might have to repeat that.
Okay. I'll drop with the history lesson, just go straight forward. Currently,
I was reading a text message from Raster, and then I saw Raster pop up. I was trying to help figure out what was going on with this situation. I apologize, bro.
Front. Okay.
Half right, face, front lean, rest position, move.
Between 49 and 53% of all military personnel come from the 11 southern states. Currently, that rate sits at 49%. It takes the entire rest of the nation to come up with 51%. But almost all forts are in the southern states. And that's the main reason why that they were named after the great Confederate generals.
Yeah. I mean, well, of course, the southern forts were there. They were already named after the Confederate officers because of that time period. And obviously, I'm only going to assume that it was a matter of respect because there's still respect among officers.
Well, yeah. Because, you think all of the people in leadership on the federal side went to West Point with all of these guys that they were fighting against. They went to school together. They lived together. They were friends before and after.
This was a nation divided, but just because you were north or south does not necessarily mean one is really racist and one is not racist. There was a nation of racism. It was across the fucking country. All right.
Well,
there's still respect. Just like there was, if you watch the movie, We Were Soldiers Once, or the movie was We Were Soldiers Once, and then the book is We Were Soldiers Once and Young. North and South Vietnam were very specifically divided. However, there was still a deep respect, and in that movie and in that book, the officers of both sides give respect to each other. They're both included in the book. The movie, you do see elements of it, but in the book specifically, you see elements of both sides, from the Viet Cong side and from Hal Moore's side, and they talk how they respect of each other. Now, there is not going to be any signs of racism or anything. And it's the same thing with the Civil War. There's still going to be elements of respect for the people, especially it's in our own country. These are in fact our brothers and sisters on the other side of the battle line, which is so sad that we had to have a civil war. But yeah, to claim that we have to eliminate all of these people's historical references in military bases and everything else is nothing more than just removing history. And it has so much more deeper meaning with what they're trying to do rather than just call it "quote unquote" racism.
Well, yeah,
and
this
it's
is
kind of like
wokeism gone batshit crazy.
it's kind of like a case of, you know, out of sight, out of mind too. You know, if those, you know, and I was like, you know, the minute they started taking down like you know, the statues, you know, from,
real quick,
you know,
Samuel's dipping out. Thank you very much, Sam. Thank you for the super chats and everything, buddy. Thank you so much. You're awesome, dude. Sorry, go ahead.
But you know, the minute they started taking down, you know, statues of people down south and whatnot, you know, it's like I knew then, and it's like, yeah, well, they're just trying to, you know, take away, you know, the reminders or whatever, all in the name of, you know, well, you know, getting rid of racism or whatever. But
No, but
you know, they're
you gotta remember,
taking all these reminders away, so
it's
that
deeper than
eventually
that, though.
people will forget. People will forget the
No.
history.
No, it's
And so
even
that they
deeper than
can-
that. You remove the history of a nation, then you remove its culture. That's what it really is all about. Everything, even when we talk about what woke is nothing more than an operation. Now we can call it a military operation, intelligence operations, however you want. I'm just going to simply call it an operation. Woke is not what you think when you see it at face level. It is a deeper operation than that to actually tear down what's going on in this country.
Woke is steeped in Marxism.
That is a big part of it, yes, as well. It is just yeah. Go ahead, Alf.
And they want to tear apart American culture because of so that they can rebuild it in whatever image that they want. If you destroy our culture, you destroy our identity, and we got a whole generation that doesn't know how to identify with their country or have respect. I got to say this. I had an immense respect. I had to run up to my son forgot his bag at home this morning. I had to run up to his school. I live in a very rural area. They're still doing the Pledge of Allegiance in a high school.
Out
here.
fucking standing. I like that.
I thought most schools got rid of that, but not around here.
I'm going to read you a quote. Tell me who said it. Who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past.
I actually don't know.
Emperor Palpatine.
George Orwell, 1984.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Sounds like.
If
Yeah,
you can,
well, you
if
know,
you
it's like those
control,
who.
if you control what people know and understand about everything historical, other than what's on your agenda, you control the future.
Well, you control if you destroy
You
our
control
history.
everything.
You destroy our history. You destroy our culture, and people, the youth have no connection. Will have no more connection to what this country was.
Those who forget history are doomed to repeat it.
I say that all the time. There's a lot of people. There's a vast majority of people that don't like studying history. Never did, and I said history is probably one of the most important subjects.
Yeah, it was one of my favorites.
I won't lie to you. I was a shitty student in high school. But no, I was
I think we all were. That's why we joined the military.
I mean, if it wasn't for football, there is no way in hell I would have graduated. But I'll tell you this, history was my favorite class.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and come back and everyone is just completely fucking silent, no conversation whatsoever.
And they've distorted history in a lot of schools now. They don't really teach like full American history and what the context behind a lot of the stuff that goes on. In some schools, I'd venture in California, they teach stuff that's totally bullshit, I would imagine.
All right. Well, first of all, now if anyone's giving accolades to anybody that has anything to do with the 1619 project and everything, there's your problem. I remember that there was actually a vote, I want to say at UNC, to actually have them coming down as faculty. I forgot the woman who was responsible for. She worked for I want to say New York Times. I want to say I think that's right. And she's the one that authored now the 1619 project. You know, basically saying that the basis of the American Revolution was rooted in slavery when the British Empire didn't actually outlaw slavery until like several decades later.
The British
And-
Empire outlawed slavery before every other country on earth.
Yeah, but what they're
And
saying is that
they actively sent their navy and their army to Africa to stop slavers.
right. But what the 1619 project is saying is that they're trying to come and say that our founding fathers were basically racist and was all for slavery and all this kind of stuff. And then like when the reality was everyone was, and they try to say that they're trying to rewrite history and say that the same reason for the Civil War is the same reason for the American Revolution, and we end up winning. And I'm like, that's not true, because the British Empire didn't outlaw slavery until decades later after we already won the law. So that's invalid, but so many academics are propping that up. And I'm like, how can you trust
I want to know how come they're not busting on every freaking culture that ever existed on the face of this earth. Because because there was slavery going on before there was prostitution. In fact, the first prostitutes were slaves, which is supposed to be the oldest profession, right?
Yeah.
And
here's the thing.
the oldest
Here's the
slave
thing.
trade, yeah.
Slavery was not about the color of your skin.
Exactly. That's what I'm
Because
about to say.
people enslaved their neighbors. They spoke the same language. They looked the same. Slavery was about control of an area.
It wasn't until the advent of overseas travel that populations from another continent went to another continent to enslave the locals. And they didn't enslave them. It was the locals there that enslaved their neighbors that sold them to the Europeans.
The Africans enslaved other Africans that they were taking land from, which is still the conquest thing. And then they were selling them to the white people. The white people didn't go chase them down because they were dying in droves just by being in Africa, because all the different bugs and diseases and stuff, the black people had a immunity to it that the white people did not have.
I want to retrace the case comment. She said, I read that they want to take the diary of Anne Frank out of school libraries. They also are trying to change what happened during the Holocaust. George Orwell wasn't wrong. I loved history class. You're absolutely right. And this is the same reason why the Nazis want to burn books. They want to remove information. This is what gaslighting / psychological operations / mind control really is. It's the control of information. So when you're burning the books, when you're removing information, then you can control the knowledge and what people think. And that is happening today. Modern day book burning is whenever these people will ban a book. They'll show up and say that, if you produce this book, physically, then we will it's cancel culture. Cancel culture is modern day book burning, to really break it down. And then that's what George Orwell was warned about. It was a prophecy. He knew was really going to fucking happen.
Well, you know how come Orwell and Ayn Rand and all those guys were so good at telling us what we're getting ready to get into?
Do tell.
They lived through it.
They lived through it, and in a lot of cases, some of them were actually privy to a lot of the information. There's a lot of stuff out there to show that George Orwell was a part of these groups that told him the plan. The plan has been going for a very long fucking time try to warp our culture and to prepare us for what is inevitably going to come. which is, when we keep talking about what's happening here in America, but you have to understand this is happening in all the countries. That is going to lead to, yes, this is my tinfoil hat moment of the night, is a one world government. That's what they're really trying to push for.
And the one world government's going to have one world religion, which is going to be Islam.
No, it's going to be the state.
I'm gonna go
with Islam on that, because Islam is submitting completely and totally. Islam not only controls the government, but it controls the laws, it controls the culture, the way you dress, the way you eat, sleep, live. Every facet of your life is controlled by Islam. It makes it the perfect
I still think they would even do away with that. It's like the religion.
But now they will probably do away with
government
Allah and make it whoever the head of the government is. I could go with that.
Go ahead, Raster.
All right, I want to step in for a minute. I don't believe any of that. I'll be honest with you. My thing is that I don't take the buy-in and everything on like one religion or another and everything. First of all, now then Marxism, with one of their core tenets of Marxism is part of, how you talked about the critical race theory. That's what's going on now. Whether it's based off of critical theory, which is pitting an oppressor against the oppressed. I mean the oppressed against the oppressors and everything, and they label the oppressors through socioeconomic. But that's what separates the two mostly, because it varies so much in the United States now, and they like to go with race because it's the easiest one to go with. And since our history has a history of actual racial oppression, which no longer exists, but my point is that Marxism itself is far more than an ideology. It is a religion in its own right. It's actually the religion that's soon consumes a lot of atheists and agnostics and everything with a sense of meaning. And I think from a theology standpoint, I do believe that like anything of the leftist is a religion of itself, a woke religion. If I recall correctly today, I think it might have been Razor Fist actually did a good thing on actually covering it and everything. It was a quick video, whatever. I think it was done very well, and it kind of really went into that or whatever. You want to talk about the World Economic Forum and stuff like that? Now they did give two flying fucks, and if you believe in three gods, one god, or whatever, they don't care as long as you believe in them.
Well, I agree with you on part of that, because Marxism, socialism, and communism, while they're not brothers and sisters, they are cousins, and all three of them do not believe in religion in any way, shape, or form.
Well, the state is the religion. That's the idea.
The state is a religion. It does at the end goal or whatever. The fact is that your compliance is with the state. Now they want you to worship the state, and nothing empowers your more actual fascistic type people is than someone that wants to be worshipped like a god, meaning a dictator or anything like that. Anybody that give them power now, they want to be the one to be worshipped. And that's something that no other religion can replace, is an earthly being that can be worshipped.
Have you guys seen the actual theory that that people believe the WEF has steeped everything they believe in is based on? It's a Malthusian theory. Look it up sometime. I think it's from like the 1800s. It's from some guy named Malthus, and he believed in controlling world population, and that the world population shouldn't go over, say, 500 million. And it makes sense, seeing everything they're doing with the WEF, that they want to control and they want to limit population growth.
Well, it's no surprise that even something like climate change is not a new concept. I'm not going to be able to get the exact dates or any of those kind of things right, but it's definitely in the 1800s where the first theory of even climate change came in. And it got to newspapers and everything. This belief that the new technologies that America or that the world was coming up with in the late 1800s was causing climate change. And this is not something new. This all does trace back a long, long ways. All of these theories do.
Yeah, but all that stuff's been proven scientifically that everything, including the weather in nature, is cyclical.
Well,
Well,
I mean,
in the
I
nin-
mean,
in
but
the
I mean
19
that's completely
Go ahead.
irrelevant because we have that information. I'm just saying that the concept of this climate change, we can
Oh, yeah,
prove
yeah.
it to be not accurate, but I'm saying you get what I'm saying, like the
Yeah.
idea of climate, because even the early said a lot of people talk about when people talk about the global warming is happening now, but in the 70s people talk about, well, back in the 70s you guys were saying there was going to be a new ice age. Well, guess what? Even 100 years before that, you guys were still saying it's going to be global warming back then. So I mean, it's been 100 fucking plus years that has just never come to fruition. It's been bullshit after bullshit after bullshit. The fact of the matter is, it really comes down to it's control. It's a matter of control. These people learned that screaming climate change or global warming or fucking whatever it has to be, if it starts getting fucking cold out, or global winding, if it's a super fucking windy day, it's a global winding. We're all gonna get blown off the fucking hemisphere of the fucking planet because of our fucking. They're just gonna.
I mean,
it's a
who doesn't
method
like a good
of
blowjob, though?
control. That's all it is. It's a method of control by these people.
Well, they just want to use these things to scare people into to giving them more control. They did it with COVID.
Yes, exactly. Talking from the aspect of psychological operations, which yes, I did for 5 years. Fear is the absolute number one best tool that you can use to manipulate people's actions.
Yeah.
You scare them enough into believing something, they will do whatever the fuck you tell them to do, and that's what they've been doing to our fucking country for 100 fucking years.
Yeah, but it's
Using
really
fear.
easy to do that when you have an unlearned country.
To pull a quote, to pull a quote from Dune, fear is the mind killer.
Oh, that's a good one. I love that. Yes. I love that quote. Thank you, sir, for that, Mr. Shellback. Wait, man-made climate change? Yes. And then, sorry, I farted. Thank you, TX, for that.
Yeah, damn methane.
Damn methane gas.
All right, guys, I gotta head out.
Yeah, I figure we just might as well go ahead and start closing this out. You go ahead and close it out first, Raster Caster, and you can dip out right after if you want.
All right, well, mine will be really short. I'm actually find me on the Twitter. I'm at Real Raster right there in my name there. Memes, commentary, whatnot, and everything. Follow me, or feel my wrath and everything when I actually do take over the world. So, just remember,
yeah, maybe you might be able to take over the world with your new channel, right?
Yeah, here we go. Go ahead and play it.
Well, any fucking time, sweetheart.
There we go. Yeah, so maybe one of these days I actually might start a channel and do something. Who knows? But anyway, yeah, follow me. If you don't, you're a piece of shit. Anyway, well, all right, guys, we all have a good night.
I like that.
Thank you, Raster. You have a great night, buddy.
Have
See
a
you on
good
Saturday. Or tomorrow, rather. Actually, tomorrow, yeah, by the way, tomorrow I'm going to be hosting Ball Busters, which is usually Dermy Wormy's channel. I'm going to be doing Ball Busters on my channel tomorrow at 11 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Central. So come over to, it's a very regular time period. Usually my shows are 10 o'clock Eastern on Thursday and Saturday. 11 o'clock Eastern tomorrow, I will be hosting Ball Busters. So come check that out.
AM or PM?
PM. I don't do AM anymore. I feel very bad that I had started doing a morning show on another friend's channel at 10 o'clock AM on Wednesdays. I can't do it anymore. This nighttime YouTuber schedule has me so fucked up. I can't do it. So I'm gonna have to dip out on that one.
It's hard to go head to head with Howard Stern, eh?
Yeah. Oh, that's exactly it. You got me, man. We're just Howard Stern's just too much. We're clearly in the same vein as Howard Stern, and he's just got us on just he just got the edge just a little over us. We just can't compete.
Hey, you're up there with John Boy and Billy though.
I mean, we're doing pretty good, showing a bunch of fucking nipples all over the screen between both you and Shellback here.
I'm telling you, I'm not a nipple.
You had it. I don't know how you did earlier, but you had it fixed earlier.
I switched my avatar picture, and somehow it fixed it on the other end. I have no idea how, but
Dude,
the little switcheroo here lately. I am, I'm looking at my TV because I got
StreamYard is fucking weird. I don't know why. Sometimes it fucks with people all the damn time, and right now it's fucking with you guys for some damn reason. Thumper was having difficulty even when we were backstage, and he had to just keep on, like, he would get fucking dipped out and brought back in. Now apparently it just means his fucking avatar disappears.
Yeah.
But Mr. Horny Alf, if you are still there, I see you're muted. You can go ahead and come back on. Our Air Force non-veteran, because this man is still in the Air Force, coming up on 20 fucking years of service. Fucking fantastic, but he doesn't know how to unmute himself. So we'll go on to Shellback TJC.
He's a fucking glutton for punishment.
Yeah. Just like Mr. Tex or TX or whatever, I also farted. But I am going to have one of the local deer assassinated to offset my carbon footprint. So I suggest that you do the same. And
I like the sound of that.
Yeah. Other than that, you can maybe come look for me on Snow Dove's channel this weekend, because I happen to be one of the puppets in the Cotton Connection. So.
Awesome, love it. Check it out, and his channels, like everyone else, is in the links below. Thumper, just a grunt, the 11 Bravo, amazing old fucking man, Boomer himself, who's here for the very first time ever on YouTube.
Hoorah!
You've been fucking great, dude.
Thank you very much.
Go ahead and close this out, man. If you got any final words.
Hey, use your brains, man. That's why God gave it to you.
That's good advice. That's damn good advice. I wish that Horny Alf would use that advice and fucking come back here and fucking unmute himself. I'm guessing he's probably dealing with the kids or something like that, though. Everyone else out there, thank you guys so much. Much love to everyone out there. Much love, especially to Blue Cord Devil and his family. This has been an ordeal that we've been going through for quite a while, hearing the updates and everything. I don't want to say ordeal, it sounds like it's a bad thing, but we do want to give love, thoughts, prayers, all those amazing things. I do believe in the power of prayer. Please do pray for Blue Cord Devil and all of his family, as they have now lost his beloved wife. So please do pray for him. Give all of them as much love and support as you possibly can. Thank you guys so much for all the love that I saw in the chat earlier when that announcement was made. I love this community. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys, everyone out there. The super chats were amazing tonight. The conversation was great tonight. Everyone in the chat, on the panel, all of you guys, I love you all. You all are amazing. I want to make sure everyone remembers, double tap that like and subscribe, and also ring that bell. And YouTube does not like me. Not all notifications go out. So be sure to check out @Vets Talk and Drop the Gene. You'll find me on Twitter. Check that out, and you'll always get notifications over there. Also on Kick, Rumble, Odyssey, all those fun fucking places. And also always remember to share this out there with everyone, because you don't gotta be a veteran to get involved or enjoy this conversation. Just don't get butthurt. You've been warned.
Oh God! Ah!